This woman transmigrates into a novel, but she doesn't become the kind female protagonist or the vicious female supporting character. Instead, she becomes the male protagonist's mother. Originally, she was just an ordinary fangirl who believed living was for chasing her bias and earning money was for spending on her bias. While some people might not understand fangirls, this was her only joy in life. Recently, she became obsessed with a novel called Disguise, and the male protagonist Abel became the man she couldn't forget. What fangirls want to know most is everything about their bias. But that novel had already ended, so she could only start with the author. However, life is full of dramatic twists. On the day this mysterious author held a fan signing event, her 27 years of living for her idols came to an abrupt end. Unexpectedly, when she opens her eyes again, she discovers she has transmigrated and become Christine, the only daughter of the poorest noble baron. Although she comes from poverty, she is still a noble after all. Her parents are kind and gentle, and she has a maid by her side who is utterly loyal to her. Most importantly, she is very beautiful. Christine stares at herself in the mirror, mesmerized. Annie asks Christine, "Why do you keep spacing out lately? Is something troubling you?" Christine smiles and tells Annie not to worry. After Annie leaves, Christine lies on the table to sort through her thoughts. This is the K Empire, and she occasionally hears the name of the Lumont family mentioned. Most crucially, this is the world of the novel Disguise. Based on the timeline, the male protagonist Abel should only be 7 years old right now. Christine is beside herself with excitement. She actually has the chance to witness her idol's childhood, which was rarely mentioned in the book. After this, Christine begins her idol-chasing journey. However, at this moment, Christine feels like she's suffocating, because sitting in front of her is none other than her idol's father. The Duke slowly begins to speak. "A year ago, you attended the Thanksgiving celebration held by Count Marin. This year, you attended the gentlewoman ball held in the islands. You're already past the appropriate age. Are you just here to play games?" As far as I know, the Christine family is not wealthy, and coming to the islands once costs almost the entire family's fortune. Christine is already sweating. Has he discovered that I'm a stalker of his son? The Duke can't help but smile, and reaches into his suit jacket. Christine clenches her hands, her heart racing. Based on her understanding of the Duke, what he throws out next will either be a dagger or poison. She definitely won't guess wrong, because the Duke is absolutely a son-obsessed father. Sure enough, the next second, the Duke pulls out something. The Duke waves his hand and places a handkerchief on the table. Then he slowly speaks. "Are you nervous? Why are you sweating so much?" Christine's heart races. She thinks she's about to die, and can only frantically explain that she's hot. The Duke is puzzled. "You feel hot in this cold northern region? It seems the heating is too strong." The Duke gets to the point. "At the islands, an anonymous person sent me a very precious gift, or more accurately, sent it to my son Abel. That gift was St. Clee's sword." The gift giver probably thought being anonymous would prevent discovery, but she greatly underestimated the power of our ducal family. The sender was Viscount Douglas. "After investigating, I discovered this noble has been supporting your family for 3 years. I believe this is enough to prove you have designs on our family. If you still want to argue, then let me mention other clues. The title inheritance ceremony held by Marquis Curie, and the noble ball in the central region." Christine interrupts the Duke. "Enough, Your Highness. You don't need to say more." Christine is about to break down. She originally thought she had been hiding well, but now it seems that was all an illusion. However, she only went to events she could formally attend with her noble status. Perhaps in his eyes, she's just a crazy old woman stalking his 10-year-old son. The Duke stares at Christine and continues. "Plus your reason for coming here. The lie you told was too insincere, saying you wanted to experience life in the northern region. You're clearly a weak woman who would fall over in the wind, yet you came to this ducal territory where magical beasts roam to experience life." Christine actually isn't afraid at all. Although the north is full of magical beasts and looks dangerous, under the Duke's protection, this place is safer than anywhere else. No, this isn't the time for random thoughts. It seems she's destined to die here. Duke Hades will definitely not spare a woman who stalks his son. He will certainly execute me immediately. From joining the family registry to inheriting the title, Abel has always faced various threats. At critical moments, the Duke wouldn't hesitate to sacrifice himself to protect his son Abel. Although I won't have the chance to see Abel grown up, I'm already very satisfied. Whether in the 27 years of reality or the 3 years in the K Empire of the book, I can call myself a professional fangirl. I have no regrets about dying. At this time, the Duke is still talking to himself. "You've been following us and giving expensive gifts, even risking your life to come to the north alone. Fine, I give up. I really can't refuse your sincerity. Although many women pursue me, I've never seen anyone as persistent as you, so let's hold the wedding as soon as possible." Christine hears Hades say he wants to marry her and is completely stunned. Seeing Christine looking dazed, Hades repeats, "I want to marry you." Christine returns to her room. Annie asks in confusion, "You mean you're going to marry Duke Hades? This is wonderful news." Christine opens her mouth wide. "Are you crazy? Even if I like Abel, I can't marry someone I only know the appearance and name of." But Annie says this is a good opportunity. After all, Christine is already past marriageable age. The Duke is handsome and wealthy. Normally, he would never have any connection with the Christine Baron family. Christine is petrified. These words really hit home. This is Christine's 10th day at the Duke's mansion. Duke Hades seems to think that Christine has been chasing after their family because she's completely infatuated with him. Although Christine is shocked by the Duke's level of narcissism, he does have reason to be suspicious. But why would the Duke choose her? He has money, power, and status. As the leader of the Empire's most powerful ducal family, Hades could do whatever he wants. Yet he didn't punish insignificant me, but instead said he was moved by my sincerity and wants to marry me. Christine voices her confusion. Could it be that the Duke is also chasing stars, and the person he's chasing is me? Annie, who has gotten used to fan terminology, thinks this isn't possible. Annie comforts Christine. "No matter how much you think about it, you can't know the answer. Why not just go with the flow? Perhaps he really was moved by your relentless pursuit. Besides, I heard the Duke has also faced various criticisms for never taking a wife. After all, the Duke's status is extraordinary. Such a large family still has no mistress. Isn't that strange?" After hearing Annie's analysis, Christine thinks it makes sense. Hades encountered the orphan Abel on the battlefield. He saw Abel's abilities and decided to make him his successor. However, the Lumont family, where the Duke belongs, has a significant position in the Empire. Adopting an orphan of unknown origin and letting him inherit the family would inevitably cause strong opposition from certain people. To eliminate criticism, Hades publicly acknowledged their father-son relationship, ensuring Abel's status and position, but Hades has not yet married an official wife, and Abel's birth mother has never appeared. Therefore, Abel can only be considered his illegitimate son. Although this is better than being an orphan, the Duke's retainers and servants in the mansion look down on this illegitimate son. The book once wrote that although Abel was young, he was very good at reading people's expressions. After spending a brief happy childhood, he was forced to grow up. Christine's heart aches. What should she do? In the original story, Hades never married because of the Abel he picked up. He even announced to his stubborn retainers that Abel was the only heir to the ducal family. Therefore, those nobles whose power matched the ducal family were unwilling to marry their beloved daughters into the Lumont family. But even so, many women still set their hearts on Hades because of the Lumont family's status and reputation. However, Hades' retainers also looked down on those women, believing marrying them would be a disgrace to the family. So Hades remained unmarried under these circumstances. Although the position of Duchess cannot remain empty forever, based on the plot Christine knows, Hades will not actively seek a bride, because he is a selfless father who will die heroically for Abel on his 11th birthday. Just as Christine is lost in thought, Annie tells Christine there are rumors that Duke Lumont has a woman he has long admired. Although no one knows who she is, the Duke has never given away the position of mistress. Perhaps this means she's a commoner or a young lady from a fallen family. Although this is just my guess, maybe she's Abel's birth mother. But Christine has God's perspective. She knows Abel isn't Hades' biological son. However, if he has a woman he admires, why would he be moved by her and propose marriage? If that's really the case, then he's too despicable. Christine suddenly stands up. She decides to tell Hades that there might be a misunderstanding between them, and she cannot possibly marry him. Annie is very surprised. "You're not planning to get married anymore?" Christine turns back beautifully and asks Annie, "If it were you, would you get married?" Even if the other party is Hades, she cannot sell out Christine's life. Knowing Christine wants to see him, Hades, who is handling official business, has her brought in. Christine slowly begins. "Regarding the marriage, I have something to tell you." Hades looks at the letter in his hand and says that although he's busy, he can still make time for his bride-to-be. Hearing him say this, Christine instantly feels very embarrassed. Suddenly, she notices the tea on the table. This type of tea is unique to Christine's hometown and isn't produced in the north. She also drank this here last time. Did Hades specially prepare this for her? Hades continues, "I'm writing the marriage proposal to send to the Baron's mansion. You came to find me. Is there something you're worried about? I plan to send the letter today. I know you can't believe I would marry you. But don't worry, this isn't a dream. I won't go back on my word." After hearing this, Christine can't help but spit out her tea. Christine is embarrassed. This is too narcissistic. What an overconfident man. Just as she's about to voice her objection to this marriage, a childish voice comes from the doorway, startling Christine. Seeing this, Hades angrily scolds, "Abel, how can you be so reckless? Miss Christine is our honored guest. You'd better come apologize for your rudeness." Christine's heart races as she looks toward the doorway. Isn't this the Abel she's been thinking about? Christine stares in amazement. She's actually seeing the Shota version of her idol with her own eyes. Although she resolved to remain calm and composed, she still can't calm down. Christine looks again and again. The facts tell her this isn't a dream. She's really seeing her idol. This is too dazzling. Christine almost faints from the brilliance. Hades helps Christine up and asks if she was startled. Then he looks at Abel somewhat angrily. What are you dawdling for? Didn't I tell you to apologize for your rudeness? Abel is very obedient. He straightens up and apologizes to Christine. Then he says, I received the gift you sent before. Thank you very much. I should have thanked you earlier. Christine listens to Abel's words. The gift refers to St. Clea's sword. Abel originally had to go through countless hardships to obtain that sword. But as a fan, how could she just watch her idol get hurt trying to obtain a royal treasure from a fallen kingdom? So she secretly sent it to him. Although Christine also suffered quite a bit searching for that sword. Hades explains, I thought the sword you sent me was more suitable for my son. I hope you don't mind. Christine is embarrassed. This person is really narcissistic. Doesn't he look at who the recipient is? Hades turns and tells Abel to leave first and come back later if there's anything. Abel obediently exits the room. Christine wants to ask Abel to stay, but after opening her mouth, she gives up. It's better that he left, otherwise she would definitely collapse from a heart attack. He's really too dazzling. This is too much. Why is he so cute? Seeing Christine not speaking, Hades thinks Christine was startled by Abel's rashness. He apologizes to Christine again and says Abel is a kind child. What were you about to say? You can continue now. Or do you have some dissatisfaction with this marriage? If it's because of my son Abel. Before Hades can finish, Christine places her hand on his. I will be a good wife. I came here to say this. Christine thinks to herself, actually, rather than being a good wife, I want to become Abel's mother more because this is the best identity for easy idol chasing. Back in her room, Christine can't hide her excitement. Annie doesn't understand. Are you that happy? Christine can't take it anymore. Abel is really too cute. Annie agrees. Although he's already 10 years old, he still looks so cute. Christine feels a bit regretful. 10 years old is when he should be growing. He should eat some delicious food. But the food in the northern region is really too awful. Annie remembers the important matter. Miss, didn't you not want to get married? How did you change your mind? Christine, indeed, didn't anticipate this situation. She originally planned to point out Hades' narcissism and then overturn the agreement. But now it seems like she came here to see Hades. However, Hades will die within a year. Thinking of this, Christine feels sorry for him. But no matter how much she thinks about it, it's useless. Without his sacrifice for Abel, the story couldn't continue. On Abel's 11th birthday, his innate unknown power suddenly erupts, putting him on the brink of life and death. At the critical moment, thanks to Hades absorbing all the energy and trading his life for Abel's, he saves his son. Otherwise, the novel disguise wouldn't have a male protagonist. His father's sacrifice makes Abel mature overnight, and he also begins to become cold. But this is also his most charming aspect. But what can she do knowing the outcome? Christine murmurs to herself, if Hades dies after we get married, what will happen to me? Although it's regrettable that Hades is a dying man. As the Duchess, can I stay here and live a good life on his behalf? What's worrying is that before he dies, I not only have to play Abel's mother but also his wife. Just pretend the person I like is him, and I've been secretly admiring him from afar for a long time. Just as Christine is about to fall asleep, she suddenly thinks of something and sits up abruptly, telling Annie to bring her the unfinished handkerchief. Annie doesn't understand. The handkerchief embroidered with the young master's smiling face? You never gave it to me to keep. Christine searches everywhere but finds nothing. Did she lose it? That was her carefully prepared tribute. She originally planned to embroider it and give it to Abel. Now she can only embroider a new one. After all, she's willing to do anything for Abel. Meanwhile, on the other side, Hades looks at the item in front of him and smiles foolishly. This is precisely the handkerchief Christine lost. He thinks Christine loves him to death. Little does he know the person embroidered on it is actually Abel. In this quiet night, Hades can't help but think of the beautiful Christine. She came to the northern region alone for his sake. Hades deeply feels that Christine is a strange, interesting, and brave woman. The next day, Christine, who is taking a walk in the courtyard, encounters Abel. Abel shyly asks Christine if she's taking a walk. He sincerely begins, I want to apologize for my rudeness when we first met. I was too flustered then. I know you don't like me, but I absolutely won't cause you trouble. Christine wants to cry. Please give me a chance to explain. Then Abel takes out a flower crown and hands it to Christine. Christine is instantly stunned. Abel explains, although this can't compare to the gift you gave me, I still want to give you something in return to show my gratitude. Even though this flower crown is quite shabby, At this moment, Christine's heart is about to boil over. Is this the legendary reverse tribute? The next second, Christine faints. This is a reverse tribute that Abel made by hand to give to her. This body is really too useless. It can't handle the excitement and actually faints in front of her idol. Even if she dies now, she wants to take this flower crown into her coffin. Seeing Christine not speaking, Abel thinks she dislikes the gift for being too shabby and is about to take it away and leave. But Christine grabs him. She says she loves flowers very much. This is from her idol. Even if it were trash, she would love it. Abel's eyes widen. That's wonderful. I was worried you wouldn't like it. Christine stares at the happy Abel in a daze. Why is he so happy? Is it because she likes the flower crown he made? Or because she thanked him? Or because she accepted his gift? Abel stammers, if it's okay, may I put it on for you? Christine is stunned again, and lets Abel put the flower crown on her. Abel immediately praises her, so beautiful, like a beautiful elf. Christine almost faints again. At this moment, even dying would be worth it. On the other side, a count is scolding Hades. How can you randomly decide the Lumont ducal family's marriage matters? I will select some suitable family young ladies' names for your review. Also, you should quickly revoke that illegitimate son's inheritance rights. Hades' eyes turn cold. I've already made it clear that this matter is non-negotiable. The count also gets angry. Are you really planning to marry a poor noble and let an illegitimate son of unknown origin inherit the title? This will definitely tarnish the Lumont family's reputation. I thought you were just young and impulsive, Hades says calmly. I'm serious. You just didn't take my words seriously. Seeing Hades is unmovable, the count brings up his wife. My wife will arrive at the territory tomorrow. We should start preparing matters related to inheriting the title, and the young master should also receive education. The matters we discussed before will be handled by my wife. It happens that Miss Christine is also in the mansion. Let my wife meet your sweetheart. She definitely wants to know what kind of person the future Duchess Lumont is, since she raised you. Just as the count reaches the door, he sees Abel pushing the door open. He looks at him with disgust, not only stupid but also so reckless. After cursing, he leaves without looking back, leaving Abel standing alone, looking quite pitiful. After hearing his father call him, Abel quickly apologizes. He shouldn't have suddenly barged into the room. He'll be more careful in the future. Hades has a headache from the count's words. You came at just the right time. Chatting with that old man for a few more minutes would probably cost me 10 years of life. Then he picks up Abel and asks if he just went to find Christine and whether Christine liked his gift. Abel smiles happily because Christine really liked the gift he gave. Hades asks what gift he gave. Abel talks enthusiastically about making a flower crown. Although it was ugly, she still liked it very much. In the end, the three of them even took a walk together. Abel continues telling his father that Christine has been going to the annex to walk every day since coming here. Just now during the walk, Christine said so happy countless times, so he was also very happy. Hades asks Abel why Christine was so happy. Abel thinks about it, probably because of the flowers. Because she touched the flower crown I put on her every minute. At first, I thought Christine was just pretending to be happy because she was afraid of making me sad. But she seems to really like that flower crown. On the other side, Christine, back in her room, is still dancing around with a flower crown. She actually received a reverse tribute. She couldn't be this lucky even in dreams. Thinking of him making the flower crown with those chubby little hands, she wants to pick him up and kiss him. Christine can barely restrain herself. Annie comforts Christine to hold on a bit longer. Once they become closer, she'll be able to do that. Annie tells her the Duke wants to invite her to dine together today. Christine doesn't understand why the Duke would do this, since she's been eating alone lately. Annie thinks maybe because they're getting married soon, the Duke wants to create some alone time. It seems His Grace the Duke isn't as cold and heartless as the rumors say. In the dining room, Christine keeps looking at Hades, and silently sighing in her heart. He's really so handsome. Hades elegantly raises his wine glass. Although I can understand you don't want to look away for even a moment, you should still eat. Christine is embarrassed. Can she take back what she just thought? But she still apologizes to the Duke and says she'll eat properly. Hades tells her she doesn't need to apologize. After all, my face won't wear out from being looked at. You can look as long as you want. I'm just worried you can't concentrate on eating. By the way, do you eat on time every day? So far, you seem to be the thinnest noble woman I've ever seen. Christine explains that she eats on time every day. Perhaps her constitution naturally doesn't gain weight easily. Hades changes the subject and tells Christine that the Countess will come tonight. She might dine with them. You don't mind, do you? Christine recalls everything about this person. Her husband, Count Gaspel, appeared many times in the work as a villain who constantly targeted Abel. Lost in memories, Christine blurts out, "Countess Gaspel is your sister?" Hades is stunned for a moment after hearing this. Then he smiles, "You must know everything about me very well. I don't need to explain much." Christine can't help but complain internally. She's really fed up with him. He's being narcissistic again. Christine continues thinking. The Countess was also very unkind to Abel at first, but later became Abel's helper. Hades tells Christine to prepare mentally. The Countess wants to meet her before they get married. Then he suggests, after we finish eating, would you like to take a walk in the courtyard? I heard from Abel that you like flowers very much. On the way, Hades tells Christine that perhaps because she was kind to Abel yesterday, he was exceptionally happy yesterday. After hearing this, Christine is also very happy. That's her idol. Regarding this matter, Hades is very grateful to Christine. After all, she should have reservations about Abel but didn't show it at all. Christine says she has no reservations at all. The young master is very cute, if possible. To improve our relationship, I hope we can occasionally take walks together in the future. Hades agrees without hesitation, all right? Even if I'm busy, I'll try to make time for you. Christine is somewhat embarrassed. I was talking about young Master Abel. Hades falls silent. You don't need my permission, and Abel should be very happy too. He seems to like you very much. Christine is overjoyed and exclaims how wonderful this is. Suddenly, she seems to notice something and asks softly, "Didn't you sleep well last night?" Christine points to her eyes. "You have dark circles, and you look very tired. Also, your hair is sticking up." Hades turns around to tidy his appearance. Then he asks Christine, "Is this better now?" Christine stands on her tiptoes and moves closer to the Duke, reaching out to smooth down his disheveled hair. "Now it's better." At this moment, time seems to stand still. Hades' eyes focus only on Christine, and Christine finds herself mesmerized as well. He looks exactly like the Abel she had imagined, and his current expression matches perfectly the description of Abel's heart-fluttering moment when he first saw the female protagonist in the book. Though her thoughts remain innocent, he is simply too handsome. Just then, Hades suddenly grabs Christine's wrist with a tense expression. At this moment, Christine's wrist emits a glowing light. Hades asks, "What is this?" Christine freezes due to Hades' sudden action, watching helplessly as Hades unbuttons her sleeve. A luminous gemstone appears, embedded in Christine's wrist. Hades speaks with a somewhat cold tone. "In Crescenta, there are still people who don't hide this?" In the novel's background, the ancestors of the K Empire's royal family were dragons. Dragons possessed powerful magic, and most citizens, being descendants of the dragon race, also possess supernatural abilities like magic. In the novel's setting, magical power can be divided into 6 attributes: fire, water, earth, wind, light, and darkness. Every citizen of the Crescenta Empire is born with one of these attributes. Throughout the Empire's long history, the Lumont ducal family has cultivated many individuals with powerful fire attributes. Hades is one of them. However, possessing an attribute does not guarantee the ability to use that power. In this empire filled with talented individuals, there are equally many ordinary people who cannot use their abilities. The Christine Baron family is exactly such a case. Though their bloodline has remained pure for generations, and they all possess the purest light attribute, this family has never produced a single capable mage. Even among family members, no trace of magical power can be detected. Despite this, when Christine was born, she still carried the symbol of her unique attribute, the core stone. Like the heart and brain, the core stone is also one of the body's vital points. Therefore, citizens learn to hide it from a young age. This skill is naturally acquired, just as children learn to walk after their first birthday. But surprisingly, in the novel, the impoverished noble lady Christine, who was barely mentioned, never learned this skill until her death at age 18. Hades, who brings Christine back indoors, feels extremely troubled. How has she managed to survive until now? Even 10-year-old Abel can do what Christine cannot. Moreover, it's located on her wrist, making it impossible to cover with anything. After thinking it over, Hades decides to have Christine come to his room every day, spending 1 hour practicing how to hide her core stone. Though he's uncertain whether this will succeed, it's better than doing nothing. Hades finds this situation utterly absurd. His fiancée is someone who has grown up without learning to hide her core stone. Christine looks at Hades and asks, "Do you regret proposing to me?" Hades pauses for a moment, then quickly explains that he doesn't mean that at all. He's simply worried. If someone has ill intentions, you could easily get hurt. They could just grab your wrist forcefully, and you'd lose your life. Christine thinks that no one would want to kill her. But Hades speaks with complete seriousness. "Since you've decided to become a member of the ducal family, you must remain vigilant. I have many enemies. If you become my wife, they will naturally target you." Hearing this, Christine realizes the severity of having her core stone exposed. After her reincarnation, Christine feels grateful to live in the same world as Abel. At the same time, she's surprised that her magical attribute matches that of the female protagonist in the story. She had never considered how she would survive in the future, having lived 18 years with her core stone exposed. Christine apologizes to Hades. I seem to be useless. I'm truly not suitable for the Lumont family. When you saw that I couldn't hide my core stone, you should have realized that no one in our entire family can use magic skillfully. Christine feels somewhat dejected. If only she were more useful, like the female protagonist Deborah. Then perhaps when Hades or Abel return injured from outside, she could provide some help. After hearing this, Hades takes Christine's hand and says, "You don't need to worry about these things. You should know better than anyone that in this empire, almost no one can harm me. The same goes for Abel. I am his father and have the duty to protect him. I will find and eliminate anyone who threatens Abel. Similarly, I have the obligation to protect my future wife. You don't need to help me with anything. I promise I will never let you suffer the slightest harm. I am powerful enough to keep you safe, so you need not worry unnecessarily." Christine finds this deeply regrettable. Hades will die in a year. If the awakened female protagonist could appear within a year, he wouldn't have to die. Until the novel's end, Abel continues to mourn his deceased father. At this moment, Christine seems to understand his feelings. Losing such a great father must have made him incredibly sad. And how could Abel bear the guilt of indirectly causing his father's death? Even as he goes downstairs, Hades remains absorbed in Christine's words. Christine, because of her exposed core stone, feared she might implicate him, and actually suggested canceling their engagement. Moreover, she felt sad and apologetic about being unable to help if he and Abel were to return injured. I wish she could be a bit more selfish. It seems she truly loves me deeply. What exactly did she fall for about me? In the dining room, as soon as Christine enters, she sees Abel sitting there in a daze. She pulls out the chair next to Abel and asks if she can sit with him. Abel says yes. Christine nearly faints with happiness. She's actually having dinner with her idol. However, Abel seems to have something on his mind. Christine asks with concern. Abel stammers, "Because Lady Gaspel is going to teach me etiquette. I'm worried I won't do well, so I'm a bit anxious." Christine comforts him. "You're already more excellent than other children." Abel feels overwhelmed by this praise. He doesn't think he's as good as Christine says. In fact, he's always been causing trouble for his father. Christine takes Abel's hand and encourages him with a smile. "Don't worry too much. I believe in you. You'll definitely do well." Abel immediately blushes, nodding vigorously, then takes Christine's hand and says sincerely, "You must marry my father. Actually, I'm not interested in titles. If you and father have children in the future, I'll definitely ask father to pass the title to that child. So please stay here and never leave." Just then, the door opens. The arrivals are Lady Gaspel and Hades. When Abel sees Lady Gaspel, he immediately stands up to greet her, which startles Christine. After everyone is seated, Christine greets Lady Gaspel and introduces herself. Mason looks at Christine with challenging words. "I am Mason Gaspel. We'll be seeing each other often." The lady beside him also looks at Christine. "I am Agatha Gaspel. Nice to meet you. I heard you came to the northern region all by yourself. To seduce men, you've gone to such lengths. How impressive. After all, women who understand shame wouldn't do such disgraceful things." Christine is stunned. This woman certainly has a sharp tongue. After hearing this, Hades can no longer sit still. He questions whether Agatha has lost her mind. Agatha continues, "I never thought you would again let some unknown outsider defile the bloodline of the Lumont family." Knowing that arguing with Agatha is pointless, Hades stands up to take Christine and Abel away. He was too foolish. When she said she'd come to teach Abel etiquette, he shouldn't have trusted her. Christine feels embarrassed. Hades was indeed too naive. It's not like he doesn't know his sister's temperament. Agatha is his biological sister, and a woman who has dedicated her entire life to the Lumont family. She raised Hades after the previous Duchess died young. Therefore, Hades shows her great respect, though her personality is quite peculiar. Not only does she never show Abel a kind face, but she also speaks mockingly to others. Agatha takes a light sip of wine and continues sarcastically, "A woman like you relies on nothing but youth and beauty. I really don't know what methods you use to bewitch his grace." Hades clearly understands that everything his sister does stems from her love and devotion to the Lumont family, so he chooses to be patient. He can only have Christine and Abel leave first. This also proves that this woman still has tremendous influence over this family. Since she'll have to confront her eventually anyway, sooner is better than later. Christine places her hand in front of Hades. "Your Grace, please don't get agitated. The lady seems to have some misunderstanding about me. I'd like to explain properly to her." "Respected Duchess, please tell me, what exactly are you dissatisfied with about me?" At this moment, Christine appears calm on the surface but feels extremely panicked inside. Agatha, across from her, speaks slowly. "You really don't know. It seems your mind isn't very sharp. People should know their place. Coveting things that don't belong to you leads to no good end. Do you think you're worthy of the Lumont family?" Christine looks directly into her eyes without fear. I'm very clear about my status and have never fantasized about using the Lumont family to climb the social ladder. You've misunderstood me. It's normal for things to develop this way and for you to misunderstand me, but the situation isn't what you think. The Lumont family's ability to become a noble house is inseparable from your contributions. You've devoted your heart and soul to this family, so naturally you'd hope the women here could also match the Lumont family's status. I understand your feelings very well and also know that I'm not worthy of being a duchess. Christine smiles innocently. She wants to appear like a pure white flower without schemes, making Agatha believe she's not a greedy woman. Christine also states that even if His Grace were to cancel their engagement, she would gladly agree. She came to the northern region without any ill intentions, so please rest assured. Agatha smiles slightly. No ill intentions. Then why would a noble lady of marriageable age like you come to an unmarried duke's territory? Christine places her hand on her chest and says seriously, "Actually, I came because I wanted to see him." The three look at her in surprise, not expecting her to be so direct. Of course, the person Christine wanted to see is actually Abel. She continues, "I know how much you cherish His Grace and this family, and I've heard many stories about your great deeds. So I deeply admire you and hope to get along well with you. Please believe me and don't be angry with me anymore. If I must be blamed for something, then I can only be blamed for being unable to bear the longing in my heart and coming to the northern region, causing you to misunderstand me. Please forgive me." Agatha's expression relaxes slightly. She says Christine is someone who knows her place, and her previous words were too harsh. However, even if you don't become a duchess, you can still stay by His Grace's side. After all, compared to those women of unknown background, a noble lady who knows propriety is more suitable as a mistress. Christine feels dizzy. This Agatha is truly unmoved by anything. Just as Agatha wants to continue, Hades stops her. He shouts Agatha's name. Christine quickly holds Abel in her arms, not knowing what harsh words this old woman might say next. Christine decides to take Abel out first. But what she doesn't expect is that Abel, hiding in her arms, Abel, who usually doesn't dare speak much and is shy, actually opens his mouth to speak. And this goes back to the night after Abel first met Christine. Hades summoned Abel to his room and asked why he came to see him. Abel first bowed obediently and apologized, because his appearance had nearly made Christine faint. Hades also admitted his mistake. He had been anxious at the time, and his tone unconsciously became stern. But Abel felt it was fine. He explained to his father that he had heard from the maids that father was going to marry Miss Christine. So he wanted to congratulate his father, but unexpectedly frightened her. Hades told Abel that he wanted to prepare for the wedding quickly so that Abel would have a mother. Abel fell silent. Would Christine like him? Hades patiently taught him that although he didn't know Christine well, she wasn't a bad person. Once you get to know each other, she'll love you too. Of course, you must also make an effort. Then he asked Abel if he had any dissatisfaction with Christine. Abel quickly waved his hands. "You can't ask like that. It would be bad if she found out. She might be unhappy." Then Abel made up his mind. "Father, I will definitely work hard to perform well." Hades patted his shoulder and told Abel not to worry. After all, he was already a lovable child. Based on his understanding of Christine, no matter what, she would like Abel. Abel asked his father if he could go to the garden to pick some flowers. He wanted to give them to Christine, because she's like a spirit from the snowy mountains, both kind and gentle. So he hoped she could become his mother. It would be wonderful if she could always stay by his side. Hades smiled slightly. "Silly child, the flowers in the garden were planted for you." It was because of that conversation that Abel now bravely stands in front of Christine, saying to Agatha, who insulted her, "How can you say such terrible things to the lady? Please stop. If you're angry, take it out on me instead. The lady isn't a bad person." Agatha angrily responds, "You insolent child." Before she can finish, Christine interrupts her, saying that she'll find time to visit her during this period, and now she'll take Abel and leave first. Watching their departing figures, Agatha grits her teeth in anger. How outrageous! Hades also angrily questions Agatha, "Can't you tell what should and shouldn't be said? Even if you're my sister, you must apologize to Miss Christine this time." Agatha completely ignores him. "Last time you brought back a bastard. This time you're letting some lowly girl be the bride. Have you lost your mind? Can't you consider the family at all?" Hades maintains a very firm attitude. Even if Agatha is his sister, she has no right to interfere with his life. The mistress of the Lumont family is not for her to choose. Facing Agatha's questioning, Hades shows no mercy. He puts on his coat and walks out. "Abel is my son, Christine is my fiancée. If you're rude to them again, I won't be polite. This is my final warning to you." Meanwhile, back in the room, Abel holds Christine's hand and won't let go. He pleads with Christine not to leave the ducal manor. If the lady scolds her again, he'll protect Christine. Seeing the choked-up Abel, Christine can no longer bear it. She kneels in front of Abel and gently caresses his cheek, saying she won't leave him. Abel doesn't understand, but the lady hurt your feelings. Christine feels heartbroken. Every time he sees the Countess, he hears those harsh words. Verbal violence has a tremendous impact on children. Even if she becomes Abel's helper in the future, can these psychological wounds ever be completely healed? Christine tells Abel that she won't mind the Countess's words, so he doesn't need to worry about her leaving. I still want to get along well with you. Abel is moved and rushes into Christine's arms. Christine is immediately stunned. She never expected to be hugged so tightly by her idol in this lifetime. Realizing his impropriety, Abel quickly steps back and apologizes repeatedly. Christine swallows nervously. She really wants to hug him again. Acting on impulse, Christine pulls him into her arms. Abel asks foolishly, "Don't you dislike me?" Christine strokes his head. "Why would I dislike you? The people who dislike you are the ones with problems. I've never seen such a cute child. I don't dislike you. In fact, I like you very much." Only now does Christine understand what pain lies behind the novel's mention that his childhood was unfortunate. Time here doesn't pass like in the novel, where years go by in a flash. The novel's description of Abel being despised and mistreated might be just a few lines, but here, those things happen every single day. What she can do for Abel now is give him love and care. Christine tells Abel to rest first, and they'll have dinner together later. Abel asks repeatedly if Christine will leave him. Christine suggests that if he's worried, she'll watch him fall asleep. This also stems from a fan's selfish desire. At night, Hades comes to Abel's room and discovers a figure in the chair. It's Christine, already fast asleep. Hades quickly takes off his coat and gently covers her with it. Sitting in the chair, he watches her sleeping face. What a foolish woman. He never expected she would take such good care of Abel. Hades recalls what Christine said today. "I came here because I wanted to see him." He didn't expect she would say such things in public. Hades can't help but smile. Just then, Christine opens her eyes. "Your Grace, why are you here?" Hades quickly steps back, causing the chair to creak. Christine quickly grabs Hades, signaling him to be quiet so as not to wake the sleeping Abel. Then she looks at Abel with relief, her face full of smiles. Christine turns to look at Hades, quietly telling him, "Let's go outside to talk." Outside the door, Hades puts on his clothes, while asking Christine if Abel was pestering her, and that she really doesn't need to indulge him. Christine says it was her idea to accompany Abel, and she's very happy to do so. Hades apologizes for Agatha's rude behavior and says he'll make her apologize personally. Christine generously says it's not necessary, she's not angry, but Hades sees through this. He tells Christine not to say such insincere things in front of him. Christine quietly admits that she is indeed somewhat angry, but she can also understand her actions. Agatha values reputation highly. She was once raised as an heir. If she had taken the ducal position, she would definitely prioritize the family's reputation when choosing a marriage partner and successor. Everyone has different values, and we must acknowledge this. Hades feels even more sorry for the woman in front of him. After Agatha insulted her like that, she's actually speaking up for Agatha. Christine continues, "Although the national system determined that you would inherit the title, Lady Gaspel won't easily give up her love for this family because of that, so it's very normal for her to be dissatisfied with me. I understand her." Hades feels somewhat indignant, "But you're not the kind of person she described." Christine smiles slightly. She indeed isn't coveting the position of Duchess, and she indeed came to the northern region just to catch a glimpse of someone's distinguished presence. Christine thinks to herself that the person she's referring to is actually Abel. However, after hearing this, Hades shyly turns his head away. He tells Christine that in the future, she shouldn't let Agatha insult her anymore. Also, Christine had said before that even if he canceled their engagement, she would gladly accept it. But absolutely nothing like canceling the engagement will happen. "I will keep my promise. You can be more confident. You are the future Duchess of Lumont, a woman whose status is second only to royalty. If anyone is rude to you, you don't need to be patient. After all, tolerance can't solve all problems." But Christine says she's not the Duchess yet. Before she can finish her words, Hades excitedly steps forward. "Why can't you understand, woman?" He looks at Christine with complete sincerity. "I will absolutely never cancel our engagement." The next day in the study, Abel sits restlessly, fidgeting with his fingers. The door suddenly opens with a click, and Agatha walks in. Abel immediately stands up and bows in greeting. Agatha has servants place stacks of books on the desk, then puts on her glasses. Agatha stares at him seriously and says, "I see you really don't know proper etiquette, so let's start with manners and rules. Copy all these books today." Abel accepts with a worried expression. If he finishes copying all these books, his hands will be ruined. But he still sits down obediently and quietly begins copying the books. Agatha asks casually, "Young master, you seem to like Miss Christine very much." Abel senses trouble, but he likes Christine too much. Finally, he gathers courage to say to Agatha, "Please don't make things difficult for Miss Christine anymore. I will study etiquette properly according to your requirements. So could you please be kinder to the lady? I'll obediently listen to you and father, and never contradict you like yesterday again." Then he bows his head to apologize to Agatha. Agatha glances at him. "Be kinder to Christine? You want me not to say harsh things to her like yesterday? Is that why you shouted at me? You've always been well-behaved and obedient, but yesterday you suddenly interrupted when adults were talking. I don't know where you learned such bad habits. You scared me so much that I didn't sleep well all night. Did you learn this from His Grace?" After hearing this, Abel quickly explains that his father isn't that kind of person, and that he's a bad child. Agatha begins her lecture mode, constantly belittling Abel, telling him to watch his words and actions, not to tarnish the Lumont family's reputation. When you make mistakes, you should be punished. This is a principle she learned from childhood. His Grace loves you so much, he probably has never criticized your rudeness, right? I'll consider your request. If you want me to treat Christine kindly, then you must behave well. Then she picks up a thin stick and stands up, asking Abel if he's willing to be punished. If he's unwilling, she won't force him. But Abel lowers his head and willingly accepts punishment. He's so understanding it's heartbreaking. Agatha sternly tells him to take off his shoes and kneel on the desk. Abel complies with everything. For Miss Christine's sake, even if he's punished, he'll have no complaints. At this moment in the Duke's room, Christine widens her eyes forcefully and holds her breath, but it's still completely useless. Hades feels very helpless. He told her to concentrate and feel the energy flowing outside her body. Christine feels awkward. How could this be so simple? If she were that capable, the temple would have invited her to be a saint long ago. Hades mocks, "You can't even hide your core stone, yet you dare to dream of being a saint." Christine sighs. She thought when Hades said he'd train her, he was just talking. She didn't expect him to be serious. Hades always says that as a citizen of the Empire, one should be able to use the special power within their body. Christine looks at the core stone on her wrist. Being exposed is already a fatal weakness, and she still can't use her ability. Is this what they call a pretty but useless ornament? Seeing Christine's silence, Hades quickly comforts her. 1/3 of the Empire's people cannot use their core stone's power. After all, only those with pure bloodlines can freely use their core stone's power. Christine asks, "Like you?" After hearing this, Hades smiles confidently. Yes, exactly. Hit by Hades' brilliant smile, Christine feels slightly dazed. She asks Hades to demonstrate for her. So Hades pulls out a chair and sits beside Christine. The next second, he takes her hand, then gently touches the core stone on her wrist with his fingertip. Instantly, the surroundings glow with warm light. Christine exclaims in amazement, "Your fingertips are so warm!" Because Hades possesses the fire attribute, he can freely change his body temperature. In her excitement, Christine actually grabs Hades' hand and won't let go, praising his hand as being like a little heater. No wonder he wears so little in the north. After saying this, she can't help but touch it all over. Hades has never encountered such a situation and shyly pulls his hand back. Christine awkwardly explains that she couldn't help herself because the warm feeling was so comfortable. However, Hades lowers his head and says quietly, "If you want to hold my hand, just say so directly. You don't need to find such a clumsy excuse. I don't mind physical contact." Then he flashes Christine a charming smile. Christine immediately feels speechless. He really remains as narcissistic as ever. Christine can only make the excuse that she doesn't dare to do such a thing. After all, men and women should maintain proper distance. But Hades becomes anxious. "We're going to be husband and wife. Why are you being so formal with me?" Christine still refuses, but Hades says, "If you reject me, there won't be another chance in the future." Although Christine really wants to say that she doesn't like him, she ultimately chooses to cooperate to avoid dragging this matter on endlessly. Their hands slowly move closer, then grip tightly together. Afterward, Christine speaks up. "Please tell me how to hide the core stone." Hades responds in a daze. "All right, I'll tell you now." For the next period of time, the two continue holding hands like this, studying for quite a while. In the original story, although the Christine Baron family was naturally born with the rare ability of white attribute, and was one of the few families to pass down this ability through generations, but they weren't famous. Christine speaks up. "This white attribute should still be quite useful, right?" Hades agrees. And moreover, very few people possess the white attribute, because people from this family have lacked the magical power to control this force since birth. Christine feels that she might be the most incompetent descendant in the family's history, because core stones automatically hide as one ages. But after all these years, her core stone still remains exposed outside her body. Hades knows what Christine is thinking, and he reassures her again, that Christine doesn't need to work so hard, as he doesn't need her help. After all, no matter how formidable the opponent, none could possibly defeat him. Christine silently complains to herself that he's being presumptuous again, but then she feels regretful that the power of the white attribute could save Hades from death a year later. Yet she cannot access this power, which is why she feels so disappointed. She is different from the female protagonist Deborah. If fire attribute core stones possess the ability to control fire, then white attribute core stones have the power of purification. The white attribute, famous for its healing abilities, works by absorbing, treating, and purifying the opponent's wounds or impacted consciousness. Although Abel possesses extraordinary abilities, he has a flaw that he cannot remedy himself. The supernatural powers within his body collide periodically, causing him to lose control and go berserk. Whenever this happens, the dual torment of mind and body leaves him struggling on the edge of life and death. In this world, only one person can heal Abel, a high-level white attribute user, the female protagonist Deborah. Other white attribute users cannot purify Abel's powerful force. Even if someone can absorb his supernatural power, they will be eroded to death by the violent energy before completing the purification. Therefore, for Abel, Deborah exists like a tranquilizer. The author of Disguise designed the female protagonist Deborah as Abel's only savior, which is why only she can freely use white attribute abilities. But at the same time, this is also why other people with white attributes cannot use their own abilities. Christine becomes frustrated. How are those unnamed supporting characters in the book supposed to survive? No, she doesn't even qualify as a supporting character. If she had to be reincarnated as a character from the book, why couldn't she be transported as an ordinary commoner? Instead, she possesses a white attribute she cannot use and has become the only daughter who brings no benefit to her family. And she's the only person in the Empire who cannot even hide her core stone. She has always hoped to awaken her supernatural abilities, but no matter how hard she tries, it's all in vain. She asks Hades dejectedly, "You also think I'm hopeless, don't you?" But Hades doesn't think so. Just as I told Abel, "You don't need to put so much pressure on yourself because I'm by your side." Christine knows he means that he has enough ability to protect both her and Abel, so he wants her not to worry. Christine becomes serious. But life is unpredictable. You might inevitably encounter danger. If something happens to you, I'll have to become a widow in the prime of my youth. Hades finally understands that this is what she's worried about. He looks at Christine sincerely. "You can rest assured, because I'm a competent husband. I would never abandon my wife and die alone." After training, Christine walks along the path sighing. Today's training yielded no results. This is really attempting the impossible. However, at least Abel beside her seems happier than she had imagined. She had originally worried whether the Countess would bully him. Although Abel is very sensible, who knows what tricks that old hag might pull. Regardless, it's wonderful that Abel agreed to come out for a walk with her. She gets to spend time alone with her idol again. She feels over the moon with happiness. Suddenly she notices something unusual about Abel. He walks with a limp. Christine asks if he feels uncomfortable somewhere, if he's too tired. It seems she shouldn't have asked him to come out for a walk. They should go back and rest instead. But Abel shouts that he's not tired, even grabbing Christine's hand, saying he wants to walk and wants to stay with Christine. Christine is stunned. How can her idol be so absolutely adorable? Abel points to the flowers beside them and introduces them happily. "I told Father that you like fresh flowers, so Father had the gardener plant all of these." Christine falls into thought. Hades is completely different from what she had imagined. Could it be that he's only this kind to the woman he loves? No. Can she even be considered the woman he loves? Christine can only smile and say that she should properly thank His Grace the Duke. Abel says earnestly, "Father is a very gentle person, and so are you, Miss Christine." Christine responds by praising the Duke outwardly, but inwardly she wants to pinch Abel's chubby little cheeks. However, Hades is indeed very gentle. Christine falls into memories. Perhaps until his death, Hades had always been everything to Abel. If Abel died in my place, when I saw his corpse, what would my feelings be? Just thinking about it feels terrifying. Abel notices Christine's distraction and asks if she has something on her mind. Christine quickly denies it, saying she's just worrying about some trivial matters. Abel continues asking, "Can you tell me? Maybe I can help." Looking at the enthusiastic Abel, Christine feels reluctant to burden him. She crouches down and moves closer to Abel. "Then you must keep this secret for me." After saying this, she extends her wrist, exposing her core stone before Abel's eyes. When Abel sees Christine's core stone, he immediately panics and tells her to hide it quickly. But Christine says she doesn't know how to make it hide, and His Grace is also troubled by this matter. Abel comforts Christine, saying this isn't her fault and she shouldn't feel down anymore. Christine knows that despite his young age, Abel has already learned how to hide his core stone, so she praises him as a little genius. Abel becomes somewhat shy. He's not as amazing as Christine says. He holds Christine's hand and says, "Not everyone knows how to hide their core stone, so you really don't need to feel sad. I'm just a bit worried about your safety. You shouldn't casually tell outsiders about this weakness. Outsiders? Christine doesn't think so. In her view, Abel doesn't count as an outsider at all. Abel is deeply moved. He promises earnestly that he will protect Christine and won't let her encounter any danger. Christine smiles slightly. Abel, thank you. At this time in the Duke's manor, the maid Annie is looking around. She recalls what her mistress instructed her to do. Christine asked her to find a way to get close to the manor's female servants, since she still doesn't understand the situation here. Christine wants to know how the servants in the manor treat Abel. Then she hands Annie a bag of gold, silver, and jewelry. After all, these things are most suitable for winning people's hearts. At this moment, Annie hides in a corner. Two maids slowly approach from the distance, discussing as they walk. Young Master Abel is in that condition, yet he still insists on going out for walks. Just thinking about it makes my feet hurt. The other one mocks, "Isn't that all to please Miss Christine?" But how can the Countess so openly bully the young master? Isn't she afraid his grace will find out? However, given the young master's personality, he certainly won't complain to his grace. Finally, both express that the Lumont family members are truly terrifying. The next second, the maids are frightened pale. It turns out Annie has emerged. "I think I just heard you saying the Countess bullied the young master. Just tell me about it. Besides, it's not like you're the ones bullying the young master, so what's there to panic about? I'm just purely curious. Can you tell me what exactly happened?" Then Annie displays her sparkling jewelry. "I'm also part of the Duke's manor now. Don't exclude me. Let's get along well." After learning this news, Christine is now frantic with worry. Abel was actually beaten on the soles of his feet. The Countess probably used the pretext of etiquette education to physically punish him. According to the two maids' testimony, the young master was said to be seriously injured, with his entire feet bleeding and swollen. Even the cloth used to wipe the blood. Turn the water in the bucket bright red. A 10-year-old child's body and heart are still very tender. Adults should guide them to correct their mistakes through verbal communication. Christine has always thought this way. After all, she was once a victim of violent education herself. Christine's father in her previous life often drank, and she not only frequently got beaten but also heard many curses that someone her age shouldn't have heard. As an only child, she didn't have a happy childhood. Perhaps precisely because she lacked love in the past, she now more urgently wants to love others. Her desperate fan behavior also stems from the same reason, because Christine believes that as long as you give, you'll eventually receive something in return. Of course, she didn't cut ties with her parents, since when she gave them living expenses, they would occasionally say sorry. She had thought that the passage of time had let her release her hatred and stop caring about those past pains. But things weren't as she had imagined. The grown-up Abel should be like her, not wanting to pursue past matters. But how could those memories of cruel abuse be easily forgotten? Even when she reached an age where she would no longer be beaten by her parents, she would still occasionally dream about childhood events. That was her heart telling her that it still remembered the past pain. Christine can understand Agatha's difficulties, but that doesn't mean she'll tolerate her abusing Abel. After all, perhaps she's the only one who can truly empathize with Abel. Christine slams the table and stands up abruptly. She's going to find Agatha right now. So what if she's not easy to deal with? She's about to become Abel's mother and the mistress of the Duke's manor anyway. The Duke once told her that she could be more bold and unrestrained. Christine tells Annie that all her previous thoughts were wrong. Blindly enduring and yielding simply won't bring the results she wants. Upon seeing the Countess, she's reminded of games she used to play, where you could only complete the game by increasing the character's favorability, but she never managed to complete them because she simply had no patience to constantly please the other party. In the room, Agatha looks at Christine. "Regarding yesterday's matter, do you have something to say to me?" Christine performs a curtsy. "Yes, if it's convenient, could you have the servants withdraw first?" Then she sits across from the Countess, facing Hades's older sister. Christine shows no sign of timidity. Agatha looks at Christine and orders her to pour tea for her. Christine is no pushover. She smiles slightly. "Don't you have hands? Also, let me ask you, did you hit my son?" Agatha falls silent. In all her years, no one has ever questioned her like this. Christine repeats, "Let me ask you again. Did you or did you not hit my son?" Agatha glares viciously at Christine. "You ill-mannered woman, you've finally shown your true nature. I knew it would be like this. A cheap girl like you who only knows how to seduce men dares to play tricks in front of me? Even if you can deceive his grace, you can't fool me." Christine continues to retort. "You seem to have misunderstood. I never deliberately tried to please you. You're my husband's sister, and I originally wanted to respect you, but you actually dared to challenge my bottom line." Agatha can't believe that someone would speak to her this way. Christine continues repeating, "I don't want to ask a fourth time. Did you or did you not hit my son?" Agatha laughs. She speaks contemptuously, "So that little demon went to tattle on me. To become a member of the Lumont family, one should pay attention to one's words and actions. But he was really too rude, so I personally disciplined him. I'm the Duke's sister and someone who has contributed to the Lumont family. Don't I have the right to discipline that child? You obviously find that little thing as annoying as I do, yet you're protecting him. Is it because Hades cares about him? Do you want to pretend to be good to him and then monopolize the position of his foster mother? Christine stares into Agatha's terrible eyes, which are full of disgust. This is probably how she looks at Abel. Christine takes a deep breath. She has nothing to fear, because the Duke will definitely support her actions. Christine taps her fingers on the table surface in circles, saying casually, "You're also very rude when you speak to me, aren't you? You said my son received appropriate punishment for being rude, so if I treat you the same way now, you won't have any complaints, will you?" After hearing this, Agatha stands up excitedly. "What did you say? How outrageous! Do you think you're already the Duchess?" Christine smiles calmly. She's about to become the Duchess anyway, so she's just exercising her rights a bit early. Agatha staggers and almost can't stand steady, cursing that this is improper. Christine puts her hands on her hips and starts making threats, advising Agatha to show her some respect. She had originally wanted to treat her with courtesy, but she doesn't know how to appreciate it and is foolish beyond measure. She'd even thought Agatha was a smart person. Christine slowly stands up and continues saying to Agatha, "You'd better think clearly about which matters you can interfere with. From now on, my son will be disciplined by me. Don't you dare lay a finger on him." Agatha trembles with anger at Christine's words. The current Christine really doesn't take her seriously at all. She used to be quite afraid of her. Christine looks at Agatha with a dark expression. "If you still want to discuss etiquette with me, first control that vulgar mouth of yours, then come find me. I heard my husband was raised by you, so his childhood must have been miserable. Don't think that just because you made sacrifices for the family, you can manipulate my husband and son at will. Now the master of the Duke's manor is my husband. If you continue to be so presumptuous in the future, you'll be the only one who suffers in the end." Agatha shouts frantically, "You madwoman! Do you think Hades will indulge you treating me this way?" Christine turns to leave dismissively. "Oh, Duke Hades seems to harbor deep resentment toward you. He might even praise me for doing well. You ruined my husband's and son's childhood. I can only try my best to make up for it, so you'd better not interfere with me." Then Christine looks back with a smile. "Before I dig out your confidants one by one, I hope you can consciously take them all away. I don't want to see those troublesome people wandering around in front of me. Also, regarding your hitting my son, I will never let this matter rest. When I officially become Mrs. Lumont, I will definitely make the soles of your feet bloody and raw too." After leaving the room, Christine feels somewhat drained. She clearly said everything she wanted to say, so why doesn't she feel satisfied? Recalling what Abel said during their walk, "I want to stay with you. I'm not tired at all. Don't worry about me." Christine deeply regrets not discovering this earlier. Then she sits on the ground and starts crying. Annie sees her mistress crying and rushes over anxiously. Did the Countess bully her mistress? Her mistress never suffered such treatment at the Baron's manor. She must have been bullied by that old woman. She's going to tear out that old woman's hair, then go plead for forgiveness from his grace. Christine quickly stops the rampaging Annie. She's not crying because of that, and moreover, she was the one who taught Agatha a lesson. Christine leans into Annie's embrace and sobs. She has no right to like Abel. Maybe Abel finds fans like her annoying. Annie comforts her. "The young master would definitely be happy to have a fan like you. Don't you also know how much he likes you? If he knew you cared about him this much, he would definitely be very happy." Annie encourages Christine, which makes Christine feel much better. But it's so late now. Christine wonders where Annie is going. Annie explains that she's going to deliver medicine to the young master. The servants in the Duke's manor simply don't care about his life or death. Christine chokes up. Abel is really too pitiful. Annie hands the items to Christine. "Don't cry here anymore. Why don't you go see the young master yourself? Remember to hug him when you see him." Following Annie's words, Christine comes to Abel's room. She looks toward the bed and finds Abel already curled up under the covers, asleep. Christine quietly lifts the covers. A pair of scarred feet makes Christine's heart ache terribly. She lifts her head, struggling to hold back the tears that are about to overflow. Christine gently disinfects and applies medicine to Abel's wounds, then slowly wraps them with bandages. At this moment, tears still flow down uncontrollably. Christine whispers an apology. "It's all my fault. I didn't know you were injured, yet I insisted on dragging you out for a walk. You must really long for human contact, which is why you endured the foot injury. Abel, you can't get used to loneliness, and you shouldn't think it's natural for others to dislike you, because you're the most adorable child in this world. I hope you can be loved and find happiness. Maybe my love is insignificant, but I will always love you. Even if you throw childish tantrums or hate me, I will always stay by your side. So you can cry to me, smile at me, and vent your emotions to me. I only hope you can be yourself, because in my eyes you like that are truly adorable." After Christine finishes talking to herself, she sobs and leaves, not noticing that Abel, hiding under the covers, is also in tears. But these tears are different from before. This time, they're filled with happiness and emotion. The scene shifts to Hades carefully examining a document. His expression remains as cold as always. This is too superstitious. The Christine family has spent generations maintaining the white attribute through painstaking efforts. Because when men and women of different attributes marry, their children inevitably inherit the stronger attribute. Since the white attribute is the weakest among the 6 attributes, the Christine family has always only married people with the same attribute. The reason they, who cannot use magical power, persist in passing down the seemingly useless white attribute is because of a prophecy from the first-generation saint, when the temple was first established 500 years ago, Abel Christine. She was praised as a celestial being for her outstanding abilities. She could not only use her attribute power freely, but even possess the ability of foresight. Before her death, she left these words, "I will descend again as Saint Christine to save the empire from its impending doom." Hades can't believe it. They're not primitive people, so how can they treat words from 500 years ago as divine oracle? Unless natural disasters occur causing the entire continent to sink, the empire won't perish for hundreds of years. Speaking of which, there's also Christine, who was originally dead but mysteriously came back to life in her coffin. Could all of this be merely a coincidence? Just then, the door is roughly pushed open. It's Agatha. Agatha abandons all etiquette and shouts at Hades in fury, "Where exactly did you bring back that ill-mannered brat? You need to throw her out immediately, right now." Hades stares at Agatha. "You're not talking about Christine, are you? Are you insane? Get out of here immediately." Agatha no longer cares about her image, and keeps shouting, "Do you know what she said to me yesterday? She said that an old woman like me shouldn't interfere with the Lumont family's affairs anymore and told me not to meddle in the young master's education. And that's not all. She also accused me of being rude to her before, saying she'll make me pay when she becomes Duchess. I told you long ago that she must be hiding a sinister and vicious side. You need to throw her out of the house immediately." At this moment, Hades clenches his fists, veins bulging, listening coldly to Agatha's complaints about Christine. He looks seriously at his older sister, inevitably recalling his own childhood, when his sister stood before him with a stick, while he could only silently endure. Hades understands now. He glares fiercely at Agatha. "Did you hit my son?" Meanwhile, Abel is carefully arranging his appearance, making sure his attire is flawless. He slowly comes to the dining room. When Christine turns around, she sees the Abel she's been thinking about constantly, causing her to cough frantically in panic, frightening Abel into quickly comforting her. Christine looks at his feet. His injuries certainly haven't healed yet. Abel asks Christine if he can dine with her. Christine naturally wouldn't refuse. He should know that she was the one who applied medicine to him last night, right? After Abel sits down, he carefully suggests that he wants to dine with Christine every day from now on. After meals, he also wants to have desserts with her, and he wants to take walks with Christine every day. As he speaks, he starts crying. This also moves Christine. She smiles and agrees. "No matter what you want to do, I'll accompany you." The next second, Abel rushes into Christine's embrace, and both of them embrace each other with tears streaming down their faces. Then they smile at each other. At that moment, they seem to have become a real mother and son. Christine comforts Abel, "Don't cry anymore in the future. You look better when you smile." Abel hugs Christine tightly with both hands. "You look beautiful when you smile, and you look beautiful when you cry, too." Christine instructs Abel that if he faces any grievances in the future, he must tell her. Also, he doesn't need to fear the Countess anymore, because she has already scolded her. Even if she complains, His Grace the Duke will support them. Abel remains somewhat skeptical. At this moment, Christine suddenly questions life. Will Hades really stand on their side? After all, that's the Duke's own sister. Although Hades told her she could be more bold and unrestrained, did she go too far? What if she gets thrown out? She still wants to see Abel every day. Just then, the door opens with a click. The person who enters is Hades. He strides directly to Abel, crouches down, then grasps Abel's foot, removes his shoe, and cradles Abel's injured foot. Examining it carefully, his eyes full of heartache, Christine suddenly thinks of something, and stands up abruptly to stop him. "You don't need to do that." In 1 second, energy surrounds both Abel and Hades. All core stones possess a common supernatural ability, absorption. This ability can transfer bodily changes caused by external forces to other people. For example, what Hades is doing now is absorbing Abel's pain. The reason temple healers all possess white attributes is that only the purification ability of white attributes can spare them from physical suffering when absorbing pain. Christine certainly hopes Abel's injuries can heal quickly, but out of concern for Hades, she has to stop him, because in the novel, he used this ability to absorb the internal injuries and chaotic consciousness Abel suffered during his loss of control, and finally fell into the abyss of death. In this instant, Christine deeply feels that their bond is deeper than she had imagined. After Abel is healed, Hades picks him up, while Hades stares intently at Christine. Christine avoids his gaze. Why is he looking at her like this? Does he want to pursue yesterday's matter? No, she must explain clearly. However, Hades speaks first. Christine, you did very well. Thanks to you, I learned about this little guy's injury. He always reports only good news and hides bad news from me. Fortunately, you're here. Thank you. Christine doesn't understand. It seems he hasn't seen Agatha yet. Then she confesses to Hades that she actually said very harsh things to the Countess yesterday. But Hades says he already knows. Didn't I already allow you to do that? I said you could be more unrestrained. Christine still wants to explain that she was too angry yesterday, so she didn't control her boundaries properly. But Hades suddenly extends his hand toward her. No matter who angers you, you need not tolerate it. You have that right. Christine stares blankly at the man before her. She watches him take her hand, and then tenderly press a kiss upon it. Hades says solemnly, I said I would keep my promise. In front of Abel and me, you can do whatever you want as you please. I will make you a worthy duchess. At that moment, Christine thinks that if she takes this hand and goes to their father and son's side, they might really form a harmonious family. Also, his hand is still the same as before, so warm that she's reluctant to let go. At night, Christine sits on the edge of the bed, lost in thought, when suddenly Abel's voice comes from the doorway. Christine looks up toward the door. Abel in his pajamas is simply too adorable and charming. Christine's heart nearly stops and she's so excited. When Abel sees Christine looking unwell, he hurries forward with concern. Seeing Christine clutching her chest, he becomes terrified. He even says he'll call for father and the doctor, urging Christine to hold on. But Christine suddenly blinks her eyes. Who told Abel to be so adorable? Abel is confused for a moment. After realizing what happened, he becomes a bit angry. Such jokes cannot be made. He was truly frightened just now. He embraces Christine tightly, pleading with her not to fall ill, because he wants Christine to stay by his side always. Christine comforts Abel, saying she will do her best. Reflecting on this day, Christine feels truly happy. After walking with Abel and returning, they even shared pastries together. Later, Abel even took the initiative to suggest that Christine sleep with him. Upon hearing this, Christine becomes overjoyed. Yet she still says if you don't want to sleep alone, you could ask His Grace to accompany you. Abel tells Christine that father is usually very busy, but today Christine asks curiously, what about today? Abel begins to act mysterious, refusing to continue. Christine ends her reminiscence and suggests they sleep now. Abel becomes extremely excited, running around, finally bouncing onto the bed with joy. Seeing her idol lying in bed with a beaming smile, Christine's heart was pounding wildly again. She gently covers Abel with a blanket. This allows Abel to see the core stone on her wrist again. Abel tells Christine that when outside, she must definitely hide it well. And also cannot tell anyone casually, Christine agrees repeatedly. Abel lies down for a while, then suddenly sits up abruptly. He speaks seriously. Since you have shared your secret with me, I must also tell you a secret. Christine is instantly stunned. Abel's secret? She actually knows it all. What he wants to say must be about the core gem on his body. After all, this is his only secret right now. Novel protagonists are generally different from ordinary people, just like Abel, who is destined to be extraordinary. The grown-up Abel will be the symbol of ultimate power. Abel indicates that the attribute he possesses is mysterious and powerful. It's actually... Christine stops him from speaking. Didn't His Grace tell you to guard your secret well? How can you tell others so easily? Aren't you afraid His Grace will scold you? Abel looks sincere, but you're not an outsider. Christine finds Abel truly adorable, but she cannot let Abel remain so innocent. Christine grasps his hand and speaks slowly. I'm very grateful that you trust me, but you cannot trust others so easily. Because in this world, bad people will always outnumber good people by far. How about waiting until we're closer before you tell me? Perhaps in a year, or on your birthday. Or after getting His Grace's permission, then tell me. Just as Abel is about to speak, the door opens, and both look over. They see none other than Hades entering, dressed unusually casually. Seeing Christine, Hades asks puzzledly, "How are you here?" Christine is also stunned. Yes, how is Hades here? Behind them, Abel smiles meaningfully, recalling Abel's earlier words. Christine suddenly understands why he was being mysterious. Christine instantly blushes, realizing she has been tricked. But her relationship with Hades hasn't reached such an intimate level. Just then, Hades covers his forehead and smiles slightly. No wonder Abel suddenly asked me to sleep with him. If you wanted to be with me, you could have said so directly. Why make him relay the message? Now Christine couldn't clear her name even if she tried. Christine struggles to explain that things really aren't what you think. Hades tells her to stop making excuses. He understands everything. Then he steps forward to pat Abel's head, telling him to lie down and sleep quickly. Christine looks at Abel's happy smile at this moment and decides to endure the misunderstanding. She cannot let him be sad. For Abel's happiness, she's willing to be misunderstood by this narcissistic duke for life. The three of them lie together, Abel's face radiating a blissful smile. After Father and Miss have their wedding, what should I call Miss? This question makes both Hades and Christine laugh out loud. Christine sits up slightly, smiling as she asks him, I hope you can call me Mother. Are you willing? Abel grips the blanket tightly, expressing that he's very willing. Then he turns to ask Father, when do you plan to hold the wedding? Hades patiently answers, once the marriage contract is delivered to Christine's territory, I'll set the date. As soon as everything is prepared, we can hold the ceremony. Christine voices her concern at this moment. Won't the retainers object to their marriage? Hades frowns. Don't worry, the retainers' meeting is just a formality. This is my marriage. What right do they have to object? Abel immediately agrees, telling Christine not to worry. At this moment, the three of them are filled with warmth and trust, and they happily close their eyes. And at some point, Hades and Christine's hands were clasped together. Suddenly, Christine feels herself surrounded by white mist. Could this be in a dream? A man seems to be standing before her. That person turns around, revealing a brilliant smile, and calls out Mother. Christine instantly feels her heart nearly stopping again. Just then, Abel rushes over and grasps Christine's hand. He says sincerely, thank you for raising me. Without you, there wouldn't be who I am now. Christine embraces Abel tightly. He has grown so much, truly comforting. Abel continues, you are the person I love most in this world. I love you more than Deborah. Christine feels Abel's embrace. Previously, she could hold him completely, but now she can only be encircled in his arms. Suddenly, a magnetic voice sounds. Christine jolts awake. She stares blankly at the man before her. It's actually Hades, who says teasingly, I know I'm charming, but your liking me this much really makes me unable to handle it. At this moment, sunlight has already streamed into the room, fully awakening Christine. Wasn't she embracing Abel? How is she now in Hades' arms? On this morning, the slow-to-react Christine lets out a scream that pierces the sky. Hades covers his ears. Does this woman need to be so frightened? Christine covers her body with both hands, demanding of Hades what exactly is going on. Hades is first stunned, then smiles wickedly. If others saw this, they'd think I was the one who initiated it. This acting. I think you could become an actress. Christine is thunderstruck. What is he talking about? She didn't do anything. Hades looks at Christine sincerely. Your pretend sleeping skills are absolutely exquisite. Christine blushes deeply. Don't talk nonsense, I really just woke up. Hades shrugs. Alright, I'll reluctantly believe you. Christine feels it's necessary to explain clearly. She argues that she's not usually like this, but doesn't know what happened today. For a moment, she couldn't distinguish between reality and dreams. Hades has a sudden realization. You mean you rushed toward me in your dream? Christine hurriedly explains. The word rushed is too much. I didn't do it on purpose. Hades pursues relentlessly. If it wasn't on purpose, why did you run into my arms as soon as Abel left? Christine looks at the empty bed. Right? Where did Abel go? Just then, the door opens with a click. Abel has already changed clothes and brought a pitcher of lemon water. He explains with a smile, I was afraid you'd be thirsty, so I went to get water. Hades asks Abel why he didn't have the servants fetch the water. Abel sits between them. The reason is simple, because I wanted to bring it to you personally. Christine's heart starts racing uncontrollably again. Abel is truly too heartwarming. She looks at Hades. When the young master went out, why didn't you stop him? Hades answers matter-of-factly. I was sleeping too. If someone hadn't suddenly burrowed into my arms, I wouldn't have woken up either. Christine coughs awkwardly. Sorry, I was inappropriate. Hades, who has walked halfway, looks back with a smile. It's fine, I expected you would do this anyway. I need to prepare to receive the retainers. If the schedule weren't so busy, we could sleep a bit longer. Though it's regrettable, we can only arrange our next meeting for another time. Christine is completely bewildered. Forget it, I'm too lazy to argue with him. Hades, now outside the door, immediately leans against it. He gently touches his chin. His face has already turned red, his heart pounding. He recalls this morning's scene, Christine nuzzling in his arms. Hades can't help thinking, doesn't this woman know how to be embarrassed? And when she just opened her eyes, how could she be so radiant and captivating? In that instant, your name gently swept across my heart. Hades in the meeting room is still distracted until someone calls him, then he snaps back to attention. He looks at the documents in his hand and coughs awkwardly. Where were we? The Earl glances at him. Why are you so absent-minded today? Hades explains that he was thinking about something. The Earl indicates they will respect Hades' decision. Once the reply from Christine's family arrives, they can begin preparing for the wedding. Of course, provided that Christine's family can agree to our demands. Hades thinks they're being sensible and asks what demands they made. The Earl says lightly, We hope Christine's family will gain the support of the entire Lumante family. Many people are now paying attention to your marriage, therefore Christine's family must prove they're worthy of the Lumante family. Hades suddenly has an ominous feeling. Sure enough, the Earl continues, so Christine's family needs to pay 8 billion notes. 8 billion notes! Hades stares at them. Are you joking with me? The Earl plays dumb. Your Grace, we're sincerely helping you. This is Duke Lumante's marriage, which will naturally attract the world's attention. So Christine's family must prove their status to the world. Can't Christine's family produce that much money? Hades looks at everyone coldly. He initially planned to compromise slightly. After all, if he insists on marrying into Christine's family, Christine will definitely be looked down upon. But they know Christine's family situation well, yet still make such demands. This clearly means they disagree with this marriage. Hades has his own plan. He indicates that although 8 billion notes is indeed not a small sum, he believes Christine's family will find a way to gather this money. He will convey this demand to Christine. That's all for today. This marriage is settled. Hades stands up abruptly. If you regret this later, or fail to give Christine proper treatment after she marries in, then I absolutely will not forgive you. After returning to his room, Hades remains silent. Christine feels the atmosphere is off and asks Hades what happened. Did they disagree with the marriage? Hades tells Christine to rest assured, such a thing won't happen. Christine asks what exactly occurred. Hades says he's thinking of a solution. Christine doesn't understand. Then why did Hades call her here? Seeing his focused expression, Christine suddenly asks, "Is your foot all right?" Hades doesn't understand why she's asking such a random question. Christine explains gently, "When you healed the young master, you used the core stone's power, right? So his wound should have transferred to you now, shouldn't it?" Hades is somewhat surprised. How does she know this? She clearly can't even learn to hide core stones yet understands their functions perfectly. This truly shocks him. Also, he never took Christine for a fool. After all, she's the world's smartest and most skilled actress. Christine indicates she only knows some basic common knowledge. Hades smiles. Is that so? Then did you come to apply medicine for me? Christine sweats. This man is indeed as narcissistic as ever. Hades lifts his foot. I appreciate your kind intention, but unfortunately, this power only transfers his pain to me. It doesn't create the same wound. You guessed wrong. Christine has an epiphany, so that's how it works. Because in the novel, only characters with light attribute appeared absorbing external injuries, and Hades' only time absorbing pain was absorbing Abel's internal injuries and chaotic consciousness, so it's normal that Christine didn't know this. Hades props up his head. Why didn't you tell me your curiosity earlier? You weren't so worried you couldn't sleep at night, were you? Christine decides to change the subject. She asks Hades what the retainers said. Having one more person think of solutions is better than him worrying alone. Hades has no choice but to tell her that Christine's family needs to pay a huge sum, and only then will the retainers agree to this marriage. Christine claps her hands happily upon hearing this. Then how much money is needed? After learning it's 8 billion notes, Christine smiles even more brilliantly. Hades at this moment is troubled. He can use his private wealth. But if he wants to prove this money comes from Christine's family, he must forge documents. Christine laughs happily, telling Hades not to worry. She can afford this money. Hades is very puzzled. Where would a daughter of a poor family get so much money? Christine is confident because she has lived in the Empire for 3 years using Christine's identity. Officially following Abel started a year ago. In her previous life, she worked desperately to earn money for celebrity worship. The same applies in this world. Because she wanted to present Abel with worthy gifts, in the first 2 years here, she consistently did one thing: accumulate wealth. Christine tells Hades not to worry about the money. She can ask D. Christine continues. D is our family's supporter, Viscount Ferney. Hades understands, so it's that person. The next second, he stares at Christine with intense jealousy. You call him so casually. It seems your relationship is quite special. Christine sweats. Hades' reaction. Does he mind her relationship with D? She can understand this feeling. After all, they're about to marry. But Viscount de Frenay is just a fake identity Christine created for herself. Because in Crescenta, only this fake identity allows her to deal more easily with the Empire's cunning wealthy people. Since this is a virtual identity, if she encounters situations requiring face-to-face contract signing, Christine will find agents to handle it. This is normal in Crescenta. Hades shouldn't be suspicious. Seeing Hades staring at her intently, this jealous look makes Christine can't help but laugh. Hades glares at Christine. This woman dares to laugh? Christine explains. I know what you're misunderstanding, but Viscount Flanet is just someone who provides us support. Hades isn't that foolish. Which supporter in this world would willingly produce 8 billion notes? That far exceeds the boundaries of support. And from your tone and expression, you're very certain he'll help you without hesitation. Christine becomes nervous. Hades is too perceptive, but she can't tell the truth. Because here, conducting transactions with fake identities is illegal. But to raise money, she must mention Christine decides to use feminine wiles. She looks at Hades pitifully. Are you suspecting me? Then her eyes gradually moisten. Since you sincerely want to misunderstand me, what more can I say? Though we haven't spent much time together, I've already denied it, yet you still pursue this matter. It truly makes me sad. This tactic works well, Hades hurriedly explains. I don't distrust you, I'm just suspicious of that person. Are you sure he has no improper intentions toward you? Christine tells him to rest completely assured. Absolutely no such thing. Anyway, she'll prepare the money. Hades refuses, telling Christine not to beg him. 8 billion notes is a huge sum, equivalent to the price of 3 or 4 territories in the empire. Even the Duke Lumonte family couldn't gather so much money at once. Christine has already guessed in her heart. Hades definitely wants to sell the diamond mine he bought for Abel, but that will certainly lead to disaster, because that diamond mine is the decisive factor for Abel and Deborah to meet. Christine's attitude becomes somewhat firm. Leave that money to me to prepare. Marriage is a matter for 2 people. How can you bear all this alone? Christine thinks to herself, she's a little rich woman. Why sell that mountain and ruin Abel's romance? Christine speaks decisively. I'm very grateful to you, but merely accepting will only make me feel guilty. So please don't obstruct me anymore. Before Hades can react, Christine quickly runs away. Hades has a headache. Why doesn't she understand there's no free lunch in this world? That person isn't stupid. How could he provide 3 years of massive support for no reason? Hades grits his teeth, becoming more determined in his thinking. That person definitely has improper intentions toward Christine, and he can immediately gather 8 billion notes. Where does he get so much money? He cannot let Christine ask other men for money. This is absolutely unacceptable. So what if it's 8 billion notes? He can gather it too. He strides purposefully outward, forcefully pushing open the door. At worst, he'll sell the diamond mine. He absolutely cannot lose to that man. Just as Hades exits, he encounters Abel. Abel runs over. Father, where are you going? I was just looking for you. Hades pats his head, saying he's very busy now. Whatever it is can wait. Abel thinks Hades is looking for Christine and tells him Christine isn't at the mansion. Hades asks where she went. Abel says he doesn't know either, but before leaving, Christine told him she was going out briefly. Hades clenches his fist. Looks like he needs to go out too. Just as he's about to leave, he sees the handkerchief in Abel's hand. He quickly asks Abel where this came from. Abel says happily, "This is a gift from Miss Christine, and she embroidered it herself. I was looking for you to show it to you." Hades looks at this seemingly familiar handkerchief and falls into thought. He snatches the handkerchief from his son's hand. Abel jumps anxiously, pleading with Hades to return the handkerchief. Hades examines the handkerchief carefully. He can't help recalling that the handkerchief Christine left behind previously is identical to this one, except the previous one was embroidered crookedly. Seeing father won't return the handkerchief, Abel shouts anxiously. Hades has no choice but to return it. I just looked at it. Why are you so anxious? Abel says, "You'll damage it like this." Hades smiles. This little guy. How did he get angry? Hades bends down to ask, "Do you like this handkerchief very much?" Abel happily tells father he likes this handkerchief very much. Hades continues asking, "When giving you the handkerchief, did Christine say anything?" Abel recalls, Christine didn't say anything, but he asked Christine why she was so good to him. Her answer was, "Every time you ask such questions, I feel very sad. Do you think you don't deserve my kindness? You're so well-behaved, understanding, and lovable. Of course I want to be good to you." Abel chokes up. Besides father, this is the first time someone has praised him like this. Hades agrees with Christine's words. But Abel doesn't think so. He's not a lovable child. Moreover, Christine came to the north because of his father. She has no reason to like him, so he's very grateful to his father. Without Christine wouldn't have come to his side. Abel wipes away his tears. "Father, Miss really likes you very much, so you must treat her well. Even if you treat her better than me, I won't be sad." Hades grasps Abel's hand and speaks directly. "You mean I shouldn't miss this chance with her?" Abel is confused. Father's words are too direct. Hades strokes Abel's head, saying he understands. Then he turns and leaves. This time, he must make things clear with Christine. Meanwhile, Christine returns from her business drenched by sudden heavy rain. But she feels physically and mentally refreshed because she accomplished something important. Annie worries the miss will catch cold and quickly tells her to bathe. Christine knows Annie also got wet, so she suggested that they wash together instead. Annie happily agrees, telling Christine to rest in her room first. Christine at this moment is extremely happy. What does getting rained on matter? She successfully raised 8 billion notes. She returns to her room and opens the door, only to find it completely dark inside. What's going on? She slowly walks forward. Just then, lightning flashes, illuminating Hades's grim face. Christine is instantly dumbfounded. Then she screams, nearly falling to the ground. Hades stares at her intently, then uses magic to light candles. He speaks coldly, asking Christine where she just went. Christine obediently answers she went to find the Viscount. Hades becomes somewhat angry. Didn't he tell her not to go? Christine can only explain reluctantly, but I also said I don't want to owe you favors. Christine senses trouble. Why is today's atmosphere so strange? She steals a glance at Hades. She sees him reach into his clothes, then he throws a handkerchief onto the table. Hades speaks slowly. Let's discuss this item. Christine is a bit confused. Isn't this the handkerchief I gave Abel? As if seeing Christine's confusion, Hades answers. This isn't the one you gave Abel, but the one you left in the dining room the first day you came to the Duke's mansion and dined with me. Christine remembers now. So the handkerchief was with him. No wonder she couldn't find it that night. Hades continues. Today I heard Abel say you embroidered this handkerchief to give to him, meaning you were already embroidering handkerchiefs for Abel before coming here. In that case, the sword you sent should also be a gift for Abel. I thought you deliberately gave such an expensive item to him to avoid suspicion. Also, this letter that came with the gift should also be written by you, right? The young master is extremely cute and incredibly handsome. Heh. It really seems nauseating now. Christine breaks out in cold sweat. Is she really going to be discovered this time? Christine feels thunderstruck. If it were a normal person, they'd surely think she's a pedophile, right? My God, what should she do? Hades smiles darkly. You actually go to such lengths for my son. It's truly incomprehensible. Christine has already decided where she'll be buried. She was precisely afraid of being discovered, so after coming to the Duke's mansion, she became very restrained. She merely likes Abel as a fan, but Hades absolutely cannot understand this pure emotion. She must find an excuse. Christine stammers. You must believe me, I really have no ill intentions, I'm just purely… But before she can finish, Hades interrupts her. I know. Do you think I'm a fool? I've been observing you for several days, how could I not see this much? I know you're sincere, and I know your affection contains no ulterior motives. But when did this start? Christine stutters. What do you mean? Hades answers. Of course I mean this feeling of yours. Christine thinks. From when she finished reading Disguise until now? After calculating, she tells Hades it's been 5 years. Hades is shocked. Actually, 5 years? Hades ponders, though he hadn't paid attention to Christine's feelings toward him before. Thinking carefully, besides his Duke title, he has no other merits. He even lets his illegitimate son Abel inherit his title. If he looks at these matters from Christine's perspective, he feels truly ashamed. He actually questioned her because of an unknown supporter. The one who owes something should be himself. Hades slowly begins to speak. During the day, I was indeed somewhat displeased about your relationship with that supporter, but after careful consideration, I feel my narrow-mindedness formed a stark contrast with you. However, I must remind you once more, Abel is my illegitimate son. For you to like him so unreasonably suddenly, Christine becomes somewhat unhappy. She cannot help but retort, how can you speak of Abel that way? He is just a well-behaved and adorable child. Hades covers his forehead. You really are something. Are you not curious at all about who Abel's birth mother is? If I were you, I would certainly feel wronged. Christine, however, feels this question is not important. Hades continues speaking. I will definitely pass the Lumont family business to Abel for inheritance. Abel is very important to me. I am willing to do anything for him. Christine understands completely that Hades can sacrifice his life for Abel at any time. But she herself lacks such courage. Even though she has admired Abel for 5 years, she cannot make such a sacrifice. Hades looks at Christine. If anyone dares harbor ill intentions toward Abel, I will certainly eliminate them completely, leaving no future troubles. Moreover, I can tell you clearly that although Abel is very important to me, this does not mean I still think about his birth mother. Christine indicates she does not mind. Why are you telling me all this? Hades slowly approaches Christine. Do you not find it exhausting to like someone this way? Christine smiles, thinking to herself that she has spent so many years as a fan this way. She answers without hesitation, not exhausting at all. After all, I never expected any return. The next second, Hades has already come before Christine. He says gently, I absolutely will not allow you to think that way. He takes a strand of Christine's hair and reverently presses a kiss to it, then confesses affectionately, I will also do my utmost to love you. Christine is speechless. Hades must think she gives Abel gifts because she likes him. She feels faint. Now she'd truly find it hard to clear herself. No wonder he suddenly mentioned that Abel is an illegitimate son and brought up Abel's birth mother, telling her not to mind. Hades supports Christine. I merely said I would try my best to like you. Is this so shocking? Christine says anxiously, Your Highness, I feel there are many misunderstandings between us. But before she can finish speaking, Christine recalls what Hades just said. If anyone dares harbor ill intentions toward Abel, I will certainly eliminate them all completely, leaving no future troubles. Christine suddenly stops. Hades is puzzled. What do you want to say? Christine can only give a thumbs up and say with a forced smile, this is truly wonderful, but her heart is truly full of unspeakable suffering. However, in Hades' eyes, these are all expressions of love for him. Christine is so moved she is crying tears of joy. He mocks Christine, stop being stubborn. Look at you, crying and laughing alternately. Soon, 2 months have passed since Hades said he would sincerely like Christine, but during this time, the two have not had any particular developments. Everything remains as usual. Each day still involves 1 hour of hidden core stone training, though it still has no effect whatsoever. Christine wants to cry but has no tears. She has grown accustomed to Hades' disdainful gaze. Just then, Hades enters from the doorway. He leans against the doorframe looking at Christine. Let us train in your room today. It is quite troublesome for you to come to my room every day. Suddenly, Hades notices a bottle on the table. Christine perceives his gaze and explains that this is her medicine, similar to nutritional supplements taken when the body is weak. Although she cannot be considered healthy, she has no incurable disease, so Hades need not worry too much. Hades looks at the pills in the bottle and asks Christine, do you know what this medicine is? Christine replies that she began taking this medicine when she was very young. This medicine is not common. It seems the temple prepared it and sent it over. Hades looks at Christine. You are indeed quite frail. With that, he grasps Christine's wrist and leans toward her. Christine is instantly confused. What are you trying to do? Hades explains. Before convening the Council of Vassals, I announced the wedding news within the territory. At that time, the temple did not respond. But this time, when your name was mentioned in transmitting the message, the temple immediately sent a reply, saying they hope to visit us tomorrow. I was quite curious why they would be so eager to congratulate us. It turns out it is all because of you. Christine looks confused and says she does not know anyone from the temple. The character of Christine was never mentioned in the novel, meaning she does not even qualify as a supporting character. Logically, she should have no connection with the temple. But why would they immediately come to visit upon hearing that Hades' marriage partner is her? Hades takes it in stride. Perhaps it is because Christine's father has always maintained relations with the temple. In any case, maintaining good relations with the temple has no disadvantages. Christine recalls that her father usually dotes on her and often worries about her health problems, because she never experienced fatherly love in my previous life. So during these 3 years as Christine, she have always maintained a deep bond with the Baron. Christine says, I began taking this medicine when I was very young. This indicates that father has been in contact with the temple for a long time. Hades expresses understanding and instructs Christine that he is preparing to welcome the temple representatives, and the messenger he sent to Christine's family will probably return in the next couple of days. Christine is greatly surprised. When she first came to the north, it took her 2 months. Hades shrugs. For transmitting wedding documents, one must naturally hire mages. For wind mages and earth mages, crossing the continent is simply a piece of cake. After all, I'm asking someone to marry their beloved daughter to me. Christine smiles cooperatively. If Hades were not so narcissistic, she would probably become his fan eventually. Speaking of which, will she finally be able to hear Abel call her mother? Just thinking about it makes her feel very happy. Then she can legitimately be a fan. Hades sees Christine's happy expression and says he will prepare quickly, but hopes she will gain some weight. He is really worried that Christine will faint at the wedding. Hearing this, Christine falls into memory. When she first arrived here, she once forgot to take her medicine for 2 days and nearly fainted from pain. Since then, she has been taking her medicine and eating meals on time every day. Christine smiles slightly and tells Hades not to worry. She will certainly live well. On the other side, in the carriage, Baron Christine gazes worriedly into the distance, where the Hades family territory lies not far away. In the Duke's study, Hades is handling official business, when a guard suddenly comes to report that the messenger has returned. And Baron Christine has also come along, expected to arrive here within 30 minutes. Hearing this news, Hades is stunned. Why did the Baron come here personally? Hades immediately rises to personally welcome Baron Christine. Walking along, Hades suddenly asks the guard how he looks now. The guard replies with a confused expression, you are as handsome as always. Hades turns around. Who asked you about that? I am asking about my condition. After all, I am about to meet my father-in-law. My appearance and demeanor must be proper. But the next second, Hades becomes somewhat confused. Clearly, the person eager to marry is Christine. Why is he so nervous? Outside, heavy rain pours down. The Baron is about to descend from the carriage. He looks toward Hades and prepares to bow. But Hades stops him. We will all soon be family. There is no need for such formality. He indicates that failing to arrange for someone to welcome him in advance was truly discourteous. The Baron responds with trepidation, as he was the one making the presumptuous visit. Then he mentions Christine. Hades smiles slightly. Originally, I wanted to come out to welcome you together with Christine, but it is quite late now, and I did not have the heart to wake her. You can see her during tomorrow's meal. Moreover, it is already late, and you have traveled far. Please rest early today. Unexpectedly, the Baron looks at Hades and speaks. Actually, I came here to take Christine back. Hades is instantly stunned. What did you say? The Baron bows. I am sorry, Your Highness. I cannot agree to this marriage. The next day, Christine, who is sleeping soundly, hears someone frantically knocking on the door. Who on earth is it? Not letting people sleep early in the morning. Suddenly, the door is thrown open. The person entering is actually Hades, though his dark circles are quite severe. Christine is shocked. What is this situation? Your Highness, your dark circles almost reach your chin. Did you not sleep well last night? After speaking, she reaches out to touch them. Hades hesitates. Do I look that terrible? Christine quickly explains. You are still very handsome, but your complexion is particularly poor. Hades cannot care about that now. He tells Christine, the messenger just returned, and the Baron came along too. Christine is extremely surprised. What? Father came too? Should he not just stamp and be done with it? Hades gently drapes clothing over Christine, then explains, the Baron does not agree to our marriage. Christine is thunderstruck. What does this mean? Why? Hades conveys the Baron's explanation. He said the Christine family has maintained the white attribute for generations, so he wants you to marry a man who also possesses the white attribute. Christine is exasperated. This is too unreasonable. Hades is also very puzzled. Did the Baron not already designate your uncle Leifna as the family heir? Christine is startled. How do you know about this? Hades explains. I should at least understand the basic situation of my fiancé's family. Christine smiles awkwardly, thinking to herself that Hades' intelligence-gathering ability is indeed remarkable. As he said, maintaining the white attribute is a tradition of Baron Christine's family. Therefore, as the first-in-line family heir, I must marry a man with the white attribute for the sake of continuing the lineage. Because the white attribute is the weakest among the 6 attributes, when encountering other attributes, it becomes very difficult to maintain its characteristics. If it combines with the strongest fire attribute, the result is naturally predictable. However, none of this concerns me anymore. Even before I entered Christine's body, she had already been excluded from succession due to her poor physical condition. The only treatment method in this world is to receive baptism from temple priests. This means many people with weak constitutions cannot continue the family line. Therefore, families remove those with poor health from the list of succession candidates, including Christine. However, why would father oppose this? What unspeakable secret lies behind this? Christine recalls that previously, because of her poor health, only her uncle could replace her as the heir. Father has always felt guilty about Christine because of this matter. He always tells Christine, I only hope you can live healthily. Do whatever you want, marry whomever you want. You will always be my precious daughter. Christine believed this completely. Even if she wanted to marry a roadside beggar, father would not oppose it. Could Hades have made a mistake? Her father has no reason to oppose this marriage. Hades tells her decisively that the Baron indeed does not agree to their marriage. Knowing you need not continue the white attribute, he still uses this excuse to prevent the marriage. Christine suddenly thinks of a reason. Perhaps it is because her status is too different from Hades's. After all, the Christine family is not a prestigious noble house. Hades excitedly tells Christine he does not care about such things. In this instant, Christine feels like Cinderella being proposed to by a wealthy heir. Hades feels there are other hidden circumstances. The Baron certainly has other concerns. Christine tells Hades she will find a way to ask her father for clarification. But you did not sleep well all night last night and came to find me so early this morning. Are you worried that I cannot marry you? Hades' face flushes red. He explains in confusion that he simply did not expect this situation and was somewhat panicked. Christine turns around, about to leave to find her father, but unexpectedly sees Abel standing foolishly at the doorway. Oh no, he must have heard everything. Abel chokes up. Miss, I came to bring you milk. Christine panics. He indeed heard everything. Tears slide down Abel's face. The Baron does not agree to your marriage? It must be because of me. I am sorry. It is all my fault. Seeing Abel cry, the two frantically comfort him. It is not like that. Abel blames himself terribly. Father has not married for so long because of me too. Christine holds Abel tightly in her arms. His Highness not marrying is his own problem. It has nothing to do with you. After saying that, she looked at Hades. Your Highness, where is my father now? I will go ask him for clarification. Just then, Annie appears outside the door. Seeing Hades and Abel are also there, Annie pauses, then indicates that the Baron wants to see Christine. As soon as she finishes speaking, the Baron appears outside the door. Abel sees Christine's father and first politely greets him. He absolutely cannot delay father's marriage because of himself. and he truly likes Miss Christine very much. The Baron courteously returns the greeting, saying that Christine has troubled everyone during her time at the residence. Now Abel becomes anxious. How can you say that, Baron? Since Miss Christine came here, I have been happy every day. I hope she can continue staying here. Please agree to their marriage. Christine cannot help but ask her father why he opposes this marriage, and indicates that regardless of the reason, she will not give up this marriage. The Baron patiently tells his daughter he hopes Christine will reconsider, as she is inexperienced and does not understand the power of the Lumont family. Hades becomes agitated after hearing this. Are you still worried about this, Baron? I will treat her well and will not let her suffer grievances. But the Baron still insists on his position. Christine suddenly interrupts loudly. Father, did you not say before that I could marry whomever I wanted? Why are you going back on your word now? Did you not also feel that others were not worthy of me? I do not care. I must marry His Grace the Duke. Christine does not understand. Should father not wholeheartedly approve of this marriage? This way, our family can also receive attention from the nobles through this opportunity. Hades insists on marrying her despite opposition, and Abel eagerly anticipates their marriage. Thinking of this, Christine says decisively, I do not want to become an unfilial daughter, but if you do not agree to this marriage, I will die. Now everyone is shocked. Christine continues, this is not a momentary impulse. I have liked him for several years. I cannot live without him. If you do not agree to our marriage, I will die to show you. The room falls silent. Everyone is speechless. Faced with Christine's bold confession, Hades coughs and picks up Abel. The Baron indicates he wants to speak with Christine alone. After Hades glances at Christine, he carries Abel out. The moment the door closes, the Baron suddenly grasps Christine's hand. Christine pouts proudly, unwilling to acknowledge her father. The Baron asks if Christine has been taking her medicine on time. Father is actually worried about this. Christine is somewhat puzzled. She asks her father why he suddenly asks about this. The Baron suddenly begins to stutter and finally manages to say, I am just worried about you. Christine falls into thought. Why does father suddenly care about whether she has taken her medicine? This is really strange. Christine recalls that day when Hades asked her if she knew what this medicine was. Christine only knows that it was prepared by the temple and sent over. She has no communication with the temple, yet they immediately said they wanted to visit when they learned of her marriage to Hades. Moreover, her father, who has always doted on her, refuses to state the real reason for opposing the marriage. All of this is very suspicious. Is that medicine really just simple nutritional supplements? Although this matter is full of suspicious points, Christine still answers her father that she has been taking her medicine properly. The Baron is relieved and advises again, please reconsider the marriage matter. Duke Lumont is truly not suitable for you. Christine does not continue arguing either, and promises her father she will consider it again. But I cannot immediately agree to cancel the engagement, because I am serious about this marriage. Christine thinks to herself that the medicine given by the temple definitely has problems. At this moment outside the door, Hades is pacing back and forth at the entrance. Finally, the door opens. After the Baron sees Hades, he bows and leaves. Christine sees Hades and is somewhat surprised. Has he been waiting outside the door all this time? Seeing Christine emerge, Hades anxiously steps forward to ask how their conversation went. Christine indicates they have not reached a conclusion yet. She plans to let her father stay here first and find another opportunity to persuade him. Hades breathes a sigh of relief. He is very worried in his heart. Christine sees through Hades and tells him not to worry. If father continues to oppose, then she will give up this status. The marriage system of the Crescent Empire is extremely corrupt. If family members want to marry, they must first obtain written permission from the family head, or be removed from the family and become commoners. So if she abandons her surname, then the marriage certificate would not need her father's seal, only her own handprint. Hades coughs awkwardly. There is no need to go to such extremes. How much does this woman love me? Christine apologizes to Hades. If she really does this, then she can only trouble him to marry a commoner who has nothing. After hearing this, Hades shouts, I will not allow you to say that. Christine is startled. Why is this person so startling? Hades looks at Christine seriously. What do you take me for? How could I care about such things? And why are you apologizing to me? He looked at Christine sincerely. Even if you were a refugee slave, I would not mind. I do not care about your status and position, but I also do not want you to commit such unfilial acts for me. Christine indicates she will not do that unless absolutely necessary. Hades breathes a sigh of relief. That is all right. Christine looks at Hades silently for a while, then slowly speaks. Your Highness, can you grant me a request? Christine clenches her sleeves. She feels somewhat melancholy. She must investigate that medicine, but doing so undoubtedly means investigating the temple. The temple's status is second only to the royal family. Even the Lumont family would find it difficult to bear the consequences. Seeing Christine hesitate and delay in speaking, Hades gently embraces her shoulders. You are my fiancé and will be my person in the future, so whatever request you have, you can tell me. As long as you make it, I will agree. I am willing to do anything for you. Christine stares blankly at the man before her. Yes, since he can unhesitatingly launch a coup for Abel, perhaps he will also help her. Christine searches in her sleeves, and then hands over the medicine given by the temple, requesting Hades to help her investigate what this medicine actually is. Hades observes carefully. Isn't this the medicine the temple sent you? However, what Christine says next makes Hades pause. I have never doubted this medicine all these years, but I suddenly feel this medicine is somewhat suspicious now. Hades grips the medicine tightly and tells Christine it may take half a day. She should stay at the residence and wait for news. Christine is somewhat puzzled. Are you not going to ask anything? Hades indicates that if Christine is asking him to investigate something, she naturally has her reasons. Suddenly, Hades smiles. Are you worried that my secretly investigating the temple will cause problems? In any case, I will give you an answer within half a day. Moreover, I know people. Perhaps it will not take half a day. Do you think I would act based on someone else's opinion? Christine feels warm in her heart. He is truly reassuring. If he were not so narcissistic, she would definitely become his fan too. Just as Christine is lost in thought, Hades touches her head and tells her not to worry. Christine explains she is not worried. Hades says handsomely, your expression betrays you. Christine shyly covers her face. Is her expression that obvious? Hades turns to leave, rest assured. Did I not promise you that I would not do things that make you worry? After Hades leaves, Christine returns to her room, pondering whether the medicine given by the temple really has problems. In the novel, Christine is a character completely unrelated to the main content, while the temple is an organization with supreme power. If the novel never mentioned that Baron Christine's family truly has some connection with the temple, Christine absolutely cannot sit idly by. The reason she never doubted this medicine is first because the temple that produces this medicine is portrayed as supremely benevolent in the novel. The clerics and priests of this temple are all imperial citizens with the white attribute, and they are all kind. The second reason is that once Christine stops taking the medicine, her body experiences abnormalities. She once nearly died from pain due to forgetting to take her medicine. So Christine's continued use of this medicine is understandable, as this medicine seemed to have no suspicious aspects. But now she has a strong premonition that perhaps the temple has some reason for making her take this medicine. But why would they give such strange medicine to a powerless country girl? Christine sighs. She cannot understand. The temple is the place that cultivated the female protagonist Deborah. She finds it hard to imagine that such a place would harbor malice toward her. In the novel, Deborah is Abel's angel, because Abel once had this inner monologue. If there really were an angel descending to Earth, it should be Deborah. But Christine suddenly feels something is very wrong. Disguise differs from other romance novels. The entire story is written from Abel's perspective, meaning everything reflected in the work represents Abel's thoughts. Descriptions of others all come from Abel's judgments. Therefore, if Abel thinks someone is kind, that person will appear in the book as a kind character. But what if the temple deceived Abel before she came to this world? She wanted to ask the author a question. Although she thought she understood this book, she never figured out one thing. Why is this novel called Disguise? Disguise, this name derives from Latin, symbolizing false personality. Does this mean that except for the novel's protagonist Abel, all other characters are not what she has seen them to be? Just as things become increasingly eerie, the door is suddenly opened by Hades. Christine is scared out of her wits. Hades rushes over and grabs Christine. You have been deceived all these years. This is a medicine that suppresses magical power. Because you said this medicine nourishes the body, I specifically inquired about its other uses, and discovered it has no such therapeutic effects at all. It can only be used to suppress magical power. The reason you still cannot master the hidden core stone is because you have been taking this medicine. Why would you take such medicine? Christine anxiously asks, are you certain this medicine has no benefit for physical health? But if I do not take it, I suffer greatly. For example, my heart hurts severely. Hades tells Christine, that is not due to your physical condition. This is medicine that suppresses your magical power. If you stop taking it, the magical power will certainly burst forth within your body. Magical power that has been forcibly suppressed for so long. If it suddenly flows through your weak body, how could you possibly not suffer? Christine is stunned. So what she thought she understood completely might not be the truth. The original Christine was a kind and timid girl, so she would certainly take the medicine her father obtained for her without any wariness. The current Christine has also always believed that her father made her take medicine for her health. So does father know what this medicine is? If this is not something the temple planned alone, then why would the temple and father do this? Christine asks Hades, Is my body really this weak because I took this medicine? After receiving Hades' affirmative answer, Christine has a headache. Although the situation is suspicious, she still needs to first confirm whether her father knows about this. However, anyone can see that this is medicine her father deliberately gave her to prevent her from using magic. But even if this is truly the case, Christine cannot bring herself to break ties with her father, as he is the first person to make Christine feel familial love. Christine voices her confusion. Your Highness, why do you think the temple would make me take this medicine? Hades indicates that this matter requires investigation, but they must have their reasons for doing this. Christine grows anxious. My family members have almost no magic. Why would they still suppress my magical power? Hades speaks slowly. It can only be because your magical power is actually very strong. If you were like other members of the Christine family, possessing only weak magic, then you should not experience tremendous pain when you stop taking the medicine. But if powerful magic bursts forth within your body the moment the medicine's effects wear off, you will feel unbearable pain. Christine grips her dress tightly. What if I truly possess such powerful magic? Would I pose a threat to the temple? Hades is also curious about this, so he plans to begin investigating immediately. Christine has clarified 3 things so far. First, the medicine's true purpose. Second, that she harbors powerful magic within her body. Third, that the temple has been deliberately giving her magic-suppressing medicine for some reason. Therefore, they are definitely not the benevolent existence described in the novel. Seeing Christine so worried, Hades reaches out to caress her face. I will thoroughly investigate the temple. If I discover they have ill intentions toward you, I will use all my power to completely destroy the temple. After hearing Hades' words, Christine's originally tense mood eases. She nods and smiles, her feelings for Hades quietly beginning to change. Hades continues, I know you are suffering now, but I still must explain something to you. I believe the Baron opposes our marriage very likely because he does not want us to investigate the temple's affairs. Because in the Empire, only 2 places can openly investigate the temple. One is the royal family, and the other is the Lumont family. If you marry into the ducal house, I will naturally discover that you cannot hide your core stone, and that you are taking medicine, which would naturally lead me to suspect and investigate the temple. The Baron said he does not care whom you marry, which should not be a lie, because in his view, it is impossible for you to marry me. Christine feels somewhat hurt. Father probably never imagined in his wildest dreams that his poor Viscount's daughter could actually marry Hades. Hades tells Christine, the most important thing now is not to let others know you have become suspicious of this medicine, or that I have already discovered the medicine's true purpose, because the temple might cut off their losses. Christine understands completely, so during this period she will continue pretending to be confused. Hades is very worried. It is dangerous for Christine to go anywhere now, and particularly important to note is that she absolutely cannot return to Christine territory with the Baron. During the time Christine stops taking medicine and her body recovers, only this place is the safest. Hades takes her hand, but if the Baron does not agree to your marriage, you cannot stay here indefinitely. So before I finish investigating the temple, it would be best to make him think I am forcibly detaining you. Christine is shocked. If they do this, Hades will be regarded as a foolish person who imprisons noble ladies, which could very likely lead to his complete ruin. But Hades does not care. As long as he uncovers the temple's crimes, those rumors will collapse on their own. He looks at Christine sincerely, whether now or in the future, you need not feel you owe me anything. This is a choice I willingly make for you. The temple will visit soon, so he will be very busy. Hades asks Christine how often she takes the medicine. Christine indicates she did not take it this morning, but her body has not shown any abnormalities yet. Hades tells Christine to give him the medicine for safekeeping, and from now on she cannot leave this room, so others will not discover the abnormality. Moreover, not only the Baron, but also the maids and guards cannot be trusted. Christine looks at Hades. He is right. Now she can only trust Abel and Hades, who currently seems trustworthy to her. Not long after, the Baron comes to visit Christine, but he is blocked outside the door by the guards. I am Christine's father. Even if you cannot tell me the reason she is confined, you should give me the opportunity to see her. Must I get permission from others to see my own daughter? The guard says coldly, without His Grace the Duke's permission, no one may enter. Just then, Hades arrives. The Baron immediately asks, what exactly is happening here? Why did you station people outside Christine's room? And prohibit others from entering? This is clearly house arrest, is it not? Originally thinking Hades would give him some face, the Baron is surprised when Hades smiles slightly. You are absolutely right. This thunder strikes the Baron. Did he hear correctly? The Duke actually admits it without any evasion. Hades speaks slowly. It is I who placed Christine under house arrest in this room. You don't agree to our marriage, and you want to take her back to your domain. After hearing this, the Baron shouts anxiously, Even if you are His Grace the Duke, you cannot do this. If this matter gets out, do you know how others will view you? Hades approaches the Baron and smiles. It seems you do not quite understand the situation here. I am already that kind of person. Although you come from the countryside, you have not eaten all these years for nothing, have you? You had better think carefully about who you should most fear in this empire. From this point on, the guards outside the room become even stricter. Anyone who wants to enter must have the Duke's permission. Because of this, whether it is Annie, who is inseparable from Christine every day, or Hades, who is investigating the temple, or Abel, who previously dined with her daily, Christine can see none of them. She spends each day alone in the room. Anyone who sees this would think she is under house arrest. Christine ponders whether the author named the novel Disguise with deeper meaning. In the novel, even until the end, no story appears that corresponds to the title. Why would the protagonist Abel's biography be called Disguise? Could this mean that Abel and the readers ultimately never saw through the truth in the novel? Christine is thunderstruck. Why does she feel like she has read a horror novel? Unable to figure it out, she blows out the candle and collapses onto the bed to rest. Could it be that the female protagonist actually hides a dark side that the male protagonist falls in love with unknowingly? This is too absurd. Just as Christine is lost in thought, a tingling sensation spreads throughout her body. Then intense stabbing pain strikes. Christine screams out in agony. She immediately pulls the bell cord. The guards who hear the sound come to Hades' room and inform him of the situation. Christine in the room is in pain to the point of suffocation. Her heart feels as if it has been pierced by red-hot steel needles. Soon, Hades rushes over. The intense pain leaves Christine in tears. Hades tells her she must endure. Christine sobs, "Your Highness, please give me the medicine. I will not die from taking it anyway. I cannot hold on any longer." Seeing Christine in such agony, Hades is heartbroken. He embraces Christine tightly. The moment he holds Christine, all her pain disappears, but Hades sheds tears. Is this absorbing supernatural power? Hades breathes painfully. The tremendous pain renders him speechless. "Christine is extremely anxious, Your Highness. Please let go of me." Hades holds Christine tightly. "I cannot let you suffer." Christine's heart receives tremendous shock. This pain is continuous. Hades intends to keep absorbing her supernatural power until Christine's pain completely disappears. Christine tries desperately to stop him. This pain is not something ordinary people can endure. Hades does not let go. The pain makes him unable to stand steady. He stumbles and falls onto the bed while holding Christine. Christine does not know what to do. The Hades in the novel was also like this. When he saw Abel's abilities, he already understood how much pain-absorbing runaway power would bring. He knew he was seeking his own death. Christine holds Hades tightly and cries out, "I am sorry. Why are you so good to me?" Hades, despite his disheveled appearance, instead comforts Christine, "Do not worry. You will be better soon." She recalls the Hades from the novel. Even until his death, he was still smiling and comforting the crying Abel. Abel also mentioned many times that he still remembers the warmth of those hands when father stroked my hair. If Christine were Abel, she would probably never forget that warmth either. Nowhere else has anyone been so good to her. Why does she want to cry so much? Christine is in tears. "I am sorry, Your Highness. I knew it would hurt, yet I still let you bear it for me. I promise there will not be a second time. From now on, let me heal you instead." Thus, the long night finally passes. The next morning, Hades awakens from the bed. He looks at the sleeping Christine with great pity. Christine's body is so frail, yet she must bear such powerful magic. Fortunately, he is by her side. Otherwise, Christine definitely could not have endured. Hades reaches out to play with her hair. Unexpectedly, Christine sits up abruptly the next second, startling Hades. Christine is terrified. "Did I fall asleep? How could I fall asleep? Have I gone mad?" Hades is about to explain when Christine interrupts him. Christine frantically slaps her own face, trying to wake herself up. "It is over. How could I fall asleep?" Hades quickly intervenes. "Have you gone mad?" Christine thinks she has indeed gone mad. Otherwise, why would she fall asleep at such a critical moment? Seeing her blame herself, Hades hurriedly explains. "You fainted from exhaustion. After all, you cried for several hours." Christine looks at Hades with teary eyes. "Your Highness, are you all right now?" Hades smiles and indicates he is fine, telling her not to cry anymore. Hades teases, "I really did not expect that with such a small frame, you would have such a loud crying voice." The next second, Christine throws herself into Hades' arms. Hades is stunned. This is the first time she has actively embraced him. Hades is somewhat at a loss. He quickly comforts her, "Rest assured, you will not hurt anymore." Christine is about to cry again. "I know, but I just want to hug you. I have decided." Hades turns his head away shyly. "What have you decided?" Christine looks at Hades sincerely. "I want to become your servant." Hades turns to stone. He does not have such preferences. Christine quickly explains, "That is not what I mean. I mean, I want to protect you. Your Highness, you must believe me. Of course, I will only believe you alone. She leans on Hades' shoulder and says, from now on, I am also your fan. Hades sweats. What fan? What you are saying today is so difficult to understand. Christine looks infatuated as she nestles in Hades' arms. You do not need to understand this. Anyway, from today on, you are my second bias. Christine immerses herself in her own world, leaving Hades alone and confused. Hades tells Christine to stop talking about this for now. From today, they need to practice hiding core stones again. Christine has returned to normal now and should be able to use magic. Christine tries it, and soon the core stone is hidden properly. Christine is extremely happy. This is not such a big deal. Now Hades is relieved. Christine is also full of energy. She really wants to quickly learn how to use healing abilities. Hades looks at Christine indulgently. Did you not just learn to hide your core stone? Many people can never release their abilities in their lifetime, so you need not be too anxious. But he actually also wants to know, with the magic Christine possesses, to what extent can she release her attribute abilities? In this empire, people with white attributes are extremely rare, and among them, only Abel could release the strongest abilities. Generally speaking, temple clergy can only absorb injuries, while Abel's abilities far exceed those of clergy. This made her revered as a saint 500 years ago, and she became legend. If a saint truly appears again, the empire will inevitably fall into chaos. Christine nearby asks, please tell me how to use this ability. What exactly should I do? Hades does not understand why Christine is so anxious. Christine explains, this way I can help you and the young master. Hades stands up, when I get injured, you can practice on me. But before that, you must rest well. Christine grabs Hades' sleeve. Are you going to sleep? Then just sleep here. Why bother going back to your room? Hades blushes deeply. What are you saying? Faced with Christine's attempt to make him stay, the shy Hades runs off somewhat awkwardly. However, when opening the door, he sees the Baron standing at the entrance. The Baron looks at the disheveled Hades with a grave expression. Hades feels he might have been misunderstood. In the following days, Christine remains under house arrest, but fortunately she can now hide her magic core. Christine must also work hard to study her magical power, because she must master white attribute magic before Abel's magical rampage occurs within a year. Today, Hades comes to Christine's room to handle official business. Although he makes the excuse that it is because the room is too hot, Christine knows Hades is afraid she will overthink while alone in the room, which is why he resorts to this strategy. Christine looks at Hades with an infatuated expression. A wealthy and gentle man. Although somewhat narcissistic after all, no one in this world is perfect. Suddenly, Christine notices the books on the table. The saint should be a very important figure, but the novel mentions nothing about the saint. Just then, Hades speaks, I heard your ancestor was Saint Abel. I do not remember this matter very clearly. The history books only mention that she was a woman who maximally developed her white attribute magic. Christine ponders that in the development process of magical crystal abilities, there are 3 stages: First Awakening, Second Awakening, and Third Awakening, with Third Awakening being the final stage. To what extent abilities can awaken depends on individual magical strength, and the perfect His Grace Hades awakened to the highest level very early, and under his guidance, Abel's strength is also formidable. Hades then shares his speculation. The reason the temple gave you suppressants to hide your magic might be related to the prophecy of the saint's reincarnation. They might think you are Abel's reincarnation because you possess deep magical power. Although you took suppressants, we can roughly estimate your magic from your painful state. We still do not know why the temple wants to prevent the saint's reincarnation. This might sound absurd, but if a saint truly appears, it could very likely cause imperial panic. Although I cannot forgive their behavior in suppressing your magic, if I were a temple higher up, I might do the same. When Abel was alive 500 years ago, historical records show many invasive wars, all caused by wanting to possess Abel. She can eliminate all external effects. No weapon can restrain her in her presence. Christine falls silent. Is she truly Abel's reincarnation? The saint was very powerful. She could freely manipulate white attribute magic. White attribute magic's ability is to nullify harm. After the first awakening of white attribute magic, the ability is offset. Offset means absorbing injuries and transferring the external and internal injuries of the wounded to oneself, thereby healing the wounds. Of course, this ability has certain limitations. If treating internal injuries like mental breakdown, one must examine the caster's magical strength. Otherwise, not only can it not be offset, but more dangerous situations might occur. Therefore, besides Deborah, no one can help Abel. Deborah is one of the few people in the Empire who achieved second awakening of white attribute magic. She uses her abilities very skillfully and has gained public recognition, earning the title of saint. After her second awakening of white attributes, she gained the ability of recovery. Compared to first awakening abilities like absorption and offset, her abilities are superior. In the original work, dozens of forces covet her abilities, but under Abel's protection, she does not lose a single hair. If white attribute magic undergoes third awakening, one can become immune to all physical and magical attacks. The setting clearly mentions this ability, but why is it never mentioned in the novel? Among the families mentioned in the original book, the strongest is Deborah, who achieved second awakening. Is it because the book conceals too much, so the author wants to balance things? No, the author could not write it this way. Just then, Hades' hand is cut by a sharp book page. Christine flies over with a flattering expression. She will definitely help Hades heal properly. However, after gripping Hades' hand tightly, the wound does not change at all. Hades speaks quietly, try with sincere intention. Christine sweats, I am truly wholehearted now. Because your highness's wound looks painful, and I feel sorry for you too, Hades teases. It seems you are only paying lip service, but your heart thinks otherwise. However, the next second, Christine puts his hand in her mouth. This makes Hades scream immediately, like touching a hot potato. What are you doing? Christine smiles slightly. Saliva contains antibacterial components that are beneficial for wound healing, and I brushed my teeth, so you need not worry. Hades' face turns red. You are not allowed to do this again, understand? Also, even if you can never use your abilities, I do not mind. Do not be too eager for quick success. Christine smiles slightly. Your Highness, I hope you can stay healthy. Just then, a small head peeks out from outside the door. Abel has arrived. Abel actually brought Christine the flowers she likes. Christine is extremely surprised. Her idol actually brought her flowers. Is this the legendary reverse fan support? Suddenly, the sharp-eyed Christine notices Abel's injured hand. She is very worried and immediately grabs Abel's hand to examine the wound. Fortunately, it is only a small puncture. However, the moment their hands touch, tremendous magic bursts forth. In just 1 second, Abel's injuries are healed. Abel is extremely surprised. Christine can already use magic. This is wonderful. Christine herself is also surprised. She clearly could not do it just now. She happily turns around, wanting to tell Hades this good news. However, Hades' face has darkened. He saw everything that just happened. Although he is jealous, he is also happy that Christine can use magic. Christine quickly steps forward to heal Hades' wound. Hades slowly stands up. I must go because I need to hurry if I want to investigate the temple further. Christine speaks cautiously. You are not unhappy, are you? Hades shows an awkward expression. How could that be? Christine smiles brightly and then hugs Hades. Your Highness, please do not be unhappy. Did you not say you would look at documents before leaving? Hades becomes shy, but he does not stay. Instead, he asks Abel to leave together because there is still business to handle, and he is somewhat jealous. The reluctant Abel hugs Christine's leg. He just arrived. Watching the mother and son's deep affection, Hades leaves the room. However, the door closes so loudly that it scares the two inside. Hades outside the door is also stunned. He is truly not unhappy. It must be because the wind was too strong that the door closed. At night, the Baron worriedly rubs his forehead in his room. Just then, a magical creature comes to the window, chattering about something unknown. The Baron ties a letter to the creature's foot. He hopes the letter can be delivered quickly. Although communicating on the Duke's territory is dangerous, the other party is a capable person who should be fine. Soon it is time for the temple people to visit Lumont. Thinking about it now, Disguise might be a suspense novel, where all the characters are different from what one imagines. The most suspicious among them is the temple. In the temple, there is someone who became a high priest based solely on faith. This person is Mikhail, whom the author selected as the kindest character in the book. However, Christine will not believe this. She will do as Hades said and not easily trust anyone. The clergy in the temple worship the dragon ancestor Kionia. Their divine positions are determined by the degree of white attribute awakening. Those receiving training in the temple who have not awakened are apprentice clergy. Those who achieve first awakening are promoted to official clergy. Those who achieve second awakening are called priests, and high priests are... Suddenly, Christine's thoughts are interrupted. Hades has arrived. Because of today's events, he is dressed particularly grandly. Christine is already stunned. Why are you so handsome today? Hades' lips curve slightly. Am I not handsome usually? Christine has eyes only for Hades. You are handsome every day, but today you are especially handsome. How about I find an artist for you? If your appearance today were painted as a portrait, it could definitely be passed down to future generations. Hades shyly changes the subject. The temple clergy just arrived. They seem to be priests of high status. However, Christine is surrounded by pink bubbles. She only thinks Hades is really handsome, and this outfit particularly shows off his figure. Hades calls Christine several times, but Christine ignores him, obviously mesmerized. He has to snap his fingers. What are you daydreaming about? Christine smiles awkwardly. Should we not go meet the temple people? With you there, they definitely will not harm me. Hades tells her not to worry. If anyone dares harm Christine, he will kill them. Also, High Priest Mikhail has personally come this time, which Hades did not expect. It seems Christine is truly very important to them. Christine's expression becomes grave. In the novel, besides Abel and Deborah, Mikhail appears most frequently. He not only played a father's role after Abel lost his father, but also brought the orphan Deborah to the temple. In the book, he is like a guiding light, appearing whenever people are confused to show them direction. Hades indicates that although one should not judge by appearance, he really does not look like someone who would do bad things. Christine completely agrees. Mikhail, someone who has not even achieved first awakening, became a high priest through faith and kindness alone. Because of this, no one has ever suspected him. If the title disguise is meant to inform readers that characters in the book have false personalities, then Mikhail is the most suspicious person. Christine tells herself she must not be deceived by Mikhail's appearance, but when first meeting him, her inner thought is an angel has descended. Moreover, during the meal, Mikhail indicates he only eats vegetables, not meat, and occasionally treats wild animals' wounds. Christine looks at the beef in her hands and suddenly finds it somewhat difficult to swallow. Hades quickly indicates he did not consider this point, and his hospitality was inadequate. Mikhail shows a gentle smile. Wild animals hunting each other for survival in nature is natural law. I hold no prejudice against people who eat meat. Speaking of which, I did not expect to meet Miss Christine directly like this. This is truly my honor. I have been looking forward to meeting you. I did not expect you to resemble the saints so much in person. You are truly worthy of being a family that inherited the saints' bloodline. Seeing Christine being praised so happily, Hades is full of doubts. Just a few hours ago, Christine could not even hide her core stone. Just then, Mikhail notices Abel. The young master's hands are really small. Using adult utensils seems somewhat difficult. He even helps Abel spread the bread properly. He gently strokes Abel's head. Christine feels Mikhail seems very attentive to Abel. Hades and Christine exchange glances. Could the high priest be a strange person? Just then, Mikhail speaks. He indicates that regarding their marriage, many people still hold opposing views, such as the Baron, so he will stay here for a while. Hades and Christine's faces become very unpleasant. It is indeed as they imagined. Who knows? The next second, Mikhail smiles brightly. I will do my utmost to help you persuade the Baron. If your marriage can receive everyone's blessings, the temple will also be happy for you. Hades and Christine, worthy of being an engaged couple, show identical expressions. The implication of Mikhail's words is that your marriage is in my hands. The ducal family is now a prestigious noble house. I hope your highness will refrain from such rogue behavior in the future. Mikhail looks at them both sincerely. First, I came to congratulate the union of the two great families and to perform a sacred baptism ceremony for Miss Christine. Christine quickly waves her hands, indicating it is not necessary to trouble him. Mikhail's face maintains its smile, but his words carry slight threat. Do you not wish to... Christine feels a chill down her spine. He is indeed suspicious. Although sensing something ominous, the other party consists of priests who all look harmless and show no aggression whatsoever. At this time, Hades speaks first. If you could do this, I would be extremely grateful. Having the temple's baptism before our wedding is our supreme honor. But may I also observe the baptism ceremony? Mikhail does not agree. He indicates that only priests can participate in baptism ceremonies. But seeing Hades' increasingly dissatisfied gaze, Mikhail changes his mind. I can understand the Duke's care for the young lady, so please do as you wish. But Christine also does not want to oppose the temple, so she signals to Hades that she will be fine alone. After the meal, Hades and Christine meet privately. Christine asks, do you think High Priest Mikhail looks like someone with many schemes? Hades is not clear so far because Mikhail has not done anything excessive from beginning to end. Christine indicates that Mikhail's behavior is indeed suspicious, which is why Christine decided to accept baptism alone, because having Hades watch would make it difficult for Mikhail to reveal his true colors. To prevent Hades from worrying, Christine explains her reasons for wanting to do this. First, to give Mikhail opportunities to act improperly. Second, the priests are all non-aggressive imperial citizens. The only concerning thing is the core stone she previously exposed on her hand. But now, thanks to Hades, she can completely hide it. Although she is not as perceptive as Hades, during the baptism process, she will observe suspicious aspects to the greatest extent possible. Coming to the door, Christine says reluctantly, the Duke must guard at the door. If anything happens, I will call you. You must come immediately. Hades leans against the wall and nods. Of course I will stay here the whole time. Christine feels today he seems even more handsome and charismatic than before. As Christine is about to enter, Hades presses her hand and instructs, even if nothing happens, if you feel something is not right, you must call me. Christine smiles and nods. Hades truly gives her a complete sense of security. The baptism begins. Mikhail stands before Christine. Then he leans forward, as if he will kiss Christine's lips the next second. May God's blessing accompany Miss Christine, and may I pray for the lady's health, bright future, and safe union with Duke Hades. Christine stares at Mikhail's divine countenance in a daze. He clearly wears no perfume, yet seems to have a fragrance. After Mikhail's baptism ends, priests come one by one. They give Christine baptism one after another. Soon it is the last priest's turn. However, when touching Christine's hand, that priest shows a strange expression. He suddenly grabs Christine's wrist. The sudden pain makes Christine cry out. The next second, Mikhail pulls Christine away, but Christine clearly feels Mikhail confirmed the inside of her wrist. She recalls Hades' words, "If someone wants to harm you, they need only grip your wrist hard once, and it will be over." Christine jerks her hand away. Mikhail asks, "What happened? Did Priest Duncan do something unreasonable to you?" Christine does not pay attention to him, but shouts loudly, "Duke!" The next second, Hades, standing at the door, bursts in. The door is blown open by a fireball. Hades stands handsomely at the entrance. In Christine's eyes, he reaches new heights of handsomeness. Christine hurriedly runs into Hades' arms. Hades holds Christine tightly and asks with concern, "What happened?" Mikhail explains, "Miss Christine, please do not act emotionally. Your small misunderstanding will make relations between the temple and the ducal family distant. Please calm down." Christine gives him no face whatsoever. She immediately states that Priest Duncan just grabbed her wrist. Hades' expression immediately becomes serious. He glares fiercely at Mikhail. However, Mikhail stares into Hades' eyes, explaining the recent events over and over. Suddenly, Christine senses a strange power. What is this? But no matter how much Mikhail argues, Hades will not listen. However, after hearing Mikhail's words, Hades falls silent. A priest gripped your wrist hard during baptism. Is that all? Christine is puzzled. What does he mean by "is that all"? The situation's development becomes strangely odd. After Hades asks Mikhail to appropriately warn the priest, he takes Christine and turns to leave. Christine turns to look at Mikhail. What exactly is this situation?